something. Excuse me.
That's not okay.
This is what her and I do every night when I get up for my midnight snack and she hops up there. She eats straight from the thing.
What does Fifth do?
He doesn't come out anymore because he knows I'm going to bring him some back. He knows that he's already put in a DoorDash order.
Fifth is old enough to get a cell phone, so he had DoorDash.
Yeah, we got him a debit card.
That is very progressive of you. Hey guys, welcome to Showmance, the only show on the internet doing deep dives on shows with no depth. Mike's on his last leg.
But I only have one more day.
Yeah, that's why you're on your last leg. That's why it's casual
Fridays.
Thursdays.
That's
for
why
you.
it's called your last leg.
Yeah.
I thought your last leg was like, well, you're about to keel over.
Well, you are.
And you are.
Well, that's
Because you
true,
have one
too.
day left. So
But
you're on your last
I think
leg.
on Monday. Monday, I get to sleep. Christy, thanks. I will get some sleep on Monday. And then I'll be able to get back to answering comments and getting these two knuckleheads back in line.
Oh, hey.
Listen.
We've been carrying this.
But
Yeah,
not wrong.
exactly.
Next week, we'll be back. I'll be back. I've been here, but I'll be.
Nat and I are going to take the week off.
Yeah, we're going to send Shane over.
Yeah.
They could do a Housewives
Bro.
reunion.
Yeah.
These two
You
morons.
guys aren't ready for me and Shane.
No one
No one
is.
That's
is,
the
yeah.
season two. Season two
Oh,
prize.
recapping a show they've never seen before.
Dude, it'd be the best recap ever still.
Like, I really do think that we should add Beverly Hills Housewives to the list for sure. Like, listen, you've definitely got a lot of time to at least watch the last couple seasons, but like, I think that it will be fine if you don't, and it'll be funny to hear you like really like someone that will be like,
No way,
that's
Jose.
not gonna work.
Yeah.
Is Cool Ranch at Beverly Hills, sir? Or is she one? Is she a different one?
No, she's Beverly Hills.
Who's Cool Ranch?
Dorit.
Maybe that's a bad idea if he's
What?
going to be calling Dorit Cool Ranch.
Yeah.
I can't be the only one calling her Cool Ranch.
You might be.
Doubt it.
And-
Hashtag Cool
Oh my
Ranch.
God, Tamra and some other hoe that's on another show. We're doing the two T's in a pod, and
Teddy
Like,
Mellencamp? And
but it
Tamara?
wasn't her because she just wasn't, and they had a guest on. I can't remember her name.
Erica.
It wasn't Erica. It was
Okay.
a girl with like brunette
Do you know what
hair. Like,
franchise?
is it maybe Dolores? Is there
Oh,
someone
Dolores from
named
Jersey.
Dolores? So she was being real rude about Bethany and
Dolores
just talking
was?
shit on Bethany. And the comment sections were like, "Oh hell no."
That is our
You
leader.
Can shut the fuck up right the fuck now. I was looking for one person to be like, yeah, I never really got like jibed with her either. Scrolls of just Bethany like fans of like you could never do a quarter of what Bethany
Wait.
could do.
I have always said Bethany Frankel is the Michael Jordan of Housewives.
Yeah.
Period. That's it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that there can't be a LeBron or whoever, Kobe Bryant, right? Like me with the sports. But she is the Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And we were working on Greg's show
Yeah.
with
I can't remember what it was called. But
with a woman who is related to
Bethany?
to Claudia, who's Michael Rappaport's sister.
Oh, I love Michael Rappaport.
Yeah, love
Yeah.
him and love his sister.
And love Claudia. Yeah.
Love Claudia, but
Yeah.
remember she loved the Housewives, so we were talking about them, and she's like, "Who's your favorite?" And I'm like, "Bethany Frankel. She's Michael Jordan of Housewives." She goes, "What?" And I tell her I give her my whole spiel on how she's the MJ of Housewives.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, Rappaport, Michael, is calling her the Michael Jordan of Housewives. And so it's my theory that Claudia said this to Michael, and he stole my line.
I love that.
I don't. That's why I have such ownership over S1E1.
That's why I always say, like, when people are always like, well, I don't want to send it out this way, or I can I just give you a hard copy of my script and I get it back? And I'm like, you think someone's going to steal your shit? If anybody stole my shit, I would be so overjoyed that someone found it worthy to steal.
Not me. I came up with that, and I would like the people's praise for it.
Yeah.
Because I am not Dolores Catania, even though I love Dolores, and I do believe she is the Michael Jordan of Housewives.
Summer House was very summer housey.
It was.
It was very OG Summer House.
I was thinking
It's
the
been
same
like
thing.
that all year. It's been fun again. Not that I don't know why I say again. I think I
Yeah.
have Southern charm slipping into my.
Yeah, don't cross
yeah,
contaminate.
Right, yeah, totally.
There was definitely a period of time where I was really into the girls, just like how like they would always just get into bed and spend all day in bed or not go out and get in bed at night. I thought it was like really cute that they did this. But now it's airing more on the side of like, you guys don't think you have to do anything.
Oh, see, I think it's erring on the side of like depression or not wanting to be around West.
Yeah.
But it also could be a tinge of what you're saying.
But Paige has been doing that for a minute. Like,
Yeah.
before she probably realized that Craig and her were going to break up. Like, Paige, like I've said it before, like, Paige, if there's not a scene, like, if it's not on the call sheet, Paige is in bed.
Even
and if you want to film with Paige, like, oh, shit, Paige, we need to do this pickup, or we need you guys to talk about this, or you guys didn't get it at the pool. No. All right. Send her up to my room.
Yeah.
I'll
They're
be
just
here.
too young to start phoning it in already. Like we already get weary of, people start to make too much money and then they just don't need to do the things they do. And at this point, Paige could be like, fire me. Good luck, and like, and we would all be worse off for it, So like, I would rather keep her, but I want her to get her chutzpah back and and get out to the clubs and her little polka dot shorts and,
Well, that's going to happen this next summer because she's singies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Obviously, we start everything off with Paige and Craig in the little rowboat thing.
Yeah.
All of her jokes, it's just like my exact note is she does feel this way, but I feel as though she's worried to just out and out say it. Like she does think, oh no, I'll give you a year review and like, I'll let you know if you're fired or not. Cause she's annoyed with him.
I've never thought any of these jokes meant anything until this specific one. It's
really,
like, it's impossible to deny. It's like venomous the way she was looking at it when
it's
she
why
said
people go to couples therapy. Like they need to be, I mean, obviously they're not together anymore, but if I were her friend, it would be at this juncture that I would say, even if you guys are going to break up, go to therapy so that you can have a healthy breakup because like there's an anger there.
Yeah.
I felt the opposite.
You got
totally
what?
Did.
Oh my God! Out of all of them,
I know, right? There was another one too.
He took seriously. If anything happens, I'm taking the kids, getting in the car, and driving. And you took that one seriously. You had a whole heyday with that one.
Did.
Yes,
well,
you
because
said. That's when Mike said, "I'm not a nice guy."
Yeah.
Wait,
That's when we found
weren't?
out that you were not a nice guy.
Yeah, Mike goes, she's lucky Craig's a nice guy because I'm not a nice guy.
No, well, I just mean that Craig, I'm not afraid. I'm not going
nice
to
guy?
shy away
Ain't
from.
afraid of no Craig.
Yeah, I'm not going to shy away from confrontation. So, if you want to party, let's party. My point with that was that, like, in my mind, she had already checked out. She already was leaving him. She already wasn't going to marry him. She already wasn't going to have kids. So, like, that seemed a bit much. Like, why? This dude is just waiting for you to have kids with him. You know you're not going to. So why are you making jokes about kids, taking kids that you're never going to like? So that one was a little fucked up. This one, I remember it being funny last week, and I remember it was funny to me this time. Like, there was definitely some like shit in there, but it was funny. And then she said, what else did she say? She said a couple jokes, and I was like, dang, these are bangers. They're so funny.
You feeling prioritized, pumpkin?
Yeah,
like
that one
something
was
like it wasn't
funny.
either of those words, but it was something.
But that's sass. She was
Darling,
cutting.
honey pie.
For 3 months, I'm going to be traveling. I'm not going to war. I thought it was funny.
It is, but it was truthful. Like
Yeah.
that's
Maybe
what
I'm
she wants
also-
to say to him.
Yeah. Maybe I'm
IRL.
also like, since I'm the only one in the world that called this breakup before it happened. Just kidding. Somebody had mentioned something about if you're with somebody, but you've already checked out, like, getting with someone right after the breakup isn't
We talked
so.
about it last week.
What?
We talked about it last
Yeah.
week.
So I can't remember if it was Rebecca or somebody else, but they made a comment about that too. It's like, I think I'm in that place of like, I've been so convinced and checked out on Craig and Paige for so long that now I'm in this place where I'm like, oh, it can be funny. I'm not like analyzing every little thing she did because I did that for 6 weeks and now I'm past it.
You're going to have to get back in it because this breakup is happening and we're going to dissect every morsel of it.
I mean, totally. But also, like, again, like we already have, the breakup already happened.
More stuff's going to come out.
I don't know about
There's
that.
reunions. There's more episodes. Don't
Yeah,
you?
by the end of it.
Do you think it's really going to get super gnar, though?
Our last episode on it, we're going to have to call it fried chicken. because we're just going to like incinerate these two. Like there's only so many thumbnails that I can do, and so many tears that are pouring over my keyboard while I'm doing it. It's gonna short out.
If anyone can overcook a chicken,
it's this guy.
Sorry, I love her, but
No, Nat's got so many talents.
yeah,
Yeah,
many.
cooking. I don't want to cook, and I don't care if I'm bad at
Listen,
it. And I am
like it,
indeed
and
horrible.
That's why we're
not
perfect.
horrible.
No. Horrible cook. Yeah, horrible cook. It's fine though. Like again, I that's probably good because you don't ask someone to do something that's not good at it.
It's also good
it just
that
sort of gets you out of it.
So that like you're not cooking things and being like, oh my God, I made this.
I
Do you
know. I'd
want
be like,
some?
it's my passion.
Not their passion. Anyway, Paige is a comedian.
No, she is. Speaking of comedy, we're over to the tumbling twosome of Carl and Lil. I have seen more chemistry between two dish rags.
Wait,
Like, what is happening?
What
Really?
interaction
Carl?
is this? Like, what are they talking about at this point?
it's not the
cares?
magic one.
I know, but
'cause
like
that
the
was
magic
best
thing,
one.
like
It was the magic thing.
Okay.
No, what? No,
Yes.
that one was later, wasn't it? When they were on the bench.
I just remember them rolling around on the fake water. So I just put that in here, but I actually do think it was the magic thing where she's got the
Could be, yeah.
cards. Either way, who cares? This is the most awkward.
Oh no, what? Like, yes, who cares? Sorry to interrupt you. And sorry to go with all the people playing the drinking game because usually I'm the one getting interrupted. So you guys are going to be sober tonight. I like them though. I think I'm over Carl being gay. I don't think that's a thing anymore. And I think Carl's just a weirdo, and that's cool. You're allowed to be a weirdo. I think she's a super weirdo.
You can be
think they're
the
good. I think-
weirdest weirdo on the block, and I would probably want to be your best friend because I'm a weirdo. There's no chemistry. I've seen two tennis balls have more chemistry than these two. They're like,
I don't know,
what?
though.
Carl needs to stop talking about the fact that his ex is making a baby in a bed that he paid for. She needs to maybe not bring out the magic cards and say, my parents are here to pick me up. This whole thing, am I the only one? Am I crazy?
No, but it's just that, like, you know how last week I said, like, and again, I present company excluded, but I just find most people that are still like really into theme parties. Like, I just think that there's something, and the fact that it's Carl too. Like, I find that to be, you're hiding behind something. You like to really just dress up and get out of your own skin for a day, and not like so. I have a similar like the psychology behind people that are super into magic, and like the first thing they're going to do when they have any extra time at all is take a magic class. Like, there's so many millions of things that I would want to do before that if I had more time. So to get to that, it just makes me think that they listen, they're not going to end up together because we clearly know that she ends up sliding into everyone else's DMs because Jesse mentions that on the Watch What Happens Live. And I think she's going to be someone that Lindsay freaks out and is like, does the math. Remember when I was like, did she say that it was last fall that they started talking? Because isn't last fall when they broke up?
Yeah.
Like, so.
Well, like there's a teaser or something with Lindsay or somebody being like, you started texting her 9 months ago. And then in this episode, when Gabby and Imrul were in the kitchen talking, she was like, well, he went to a game like a year ago and met her parents.
Yeah.
And then they started texting.
Yeah. So like, I don't think it's going to go anywhere because of the fact that like they were so casual about being like, well, she was giving eyes to me over here, and then she was like DMing everyone and whatever. So I just don't think they would say that about Carl's girlfriend so early on if like that was something that was going to be revealed. Like, I don't know. It just seems like.
Well, he also says he has eyes for Sierra.
Oh yeah, and then he ends up liking Sierra. So yeah, they don't have any chemistry that I want to have anything to do with. But like, their connection is, I'm not baffled by it. They're like it.
I am.
She's into magic. He's into dressing up. Like, they're both weirdos. Like,
yeah,
I just
they're
like
dancing all weird and like.
Yeah, she's doing the caterpillar or the worm.
But then she was also like showing him like either weird gymnastics or breakdancing thing. I wasn't sure which, but I was here for it.
I don't know. I'm just very uncomfortable by the whole thing.
No,
I think
I know,
there's
but
no chemistry.
No,
I
they're
think
totally
it's-
weird. But
But who's Carl had chemistry with?
In prior seasons, he did have a little bit of chemistry with Paige.
he just always looks so funny when he's like looking at them. Like, He looked like a robot when
Here's
he's
the
like
thing.
looking at people.
Anytime I've seen Carl have chemistry with a girl, he was drunk.
Yeah.
So I can't, and I think Carl would say the same thing if he was here. Like, that's not really who he is.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that that's accurate
Yeah.
chemistry or an accurate representation of who he is when he's dating.
I can't believe he said to her the thing about she made that baby in the bed that I bought. Like, can you imagine what Lindsay must have paid for, what she must have handled, the bottle feeding through life that she had to do for him day in and day out. And he has the audacity to tell some stranger that Lindsay had made a kid like probably a month later in a bed that he bought.
Lindsay,
Like-
you know what Lindsay's
In a bed that-
retort for that would be?
What?
Well, at least somebody f***ed me in that bed.
Or it would
Like,
be,
how are you walking?
you bought that bed? You got that bed at a 50% discount off a brand deal that I got you.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just going to say, not even 50% off. Like, they gifted it to you.
Yeah, you
Of
had
a
to do
brand deal
one
that
video
I
with
got
me
you.
on it, and you didn't
Right.
even have to be in it. It was supposed to be me, but I just, whatever.
And I should have taken a managerial cut, and I
Yeah.
didn't. Here's
And
my
then-
cut.
He's telling us like in a confessional as he's talking to her, it's like, it's so great to like have someone just like listening and really excited for your idea, like even if it isn't like a good one. And like he says something like that where you're like, that is asinine that you're even saying that. Like you're such a child. You're such a spoiled little baby that like you want to be coddled so hard that you couldn't take a single criticism about any idea. Like, what's a partner to you? You're not looking for a partner. You're looking for a benefactor, babysitter.
When you and I used to write together, if one of us were throwing out jokes and it wasn't good, we would look at each other and be like,
I don't
no.
get it. I don't get it. Yeah.
Wait, who are you talking about?
Carl was talking about how he's telling this girl his idea about the bar and whatever.
Oh,
So
right.
then it's going back to his confessionals and he's saying that it's so great to have someone that is like so like pumped on your ideas, like even the bad ones or whatever. And it's like, no, that's not doing anyone any favors. Businesses are supposed to make money.
Lindsay didn't start off as a Carl hater.
No.
Not to be defending Lindsay, but this did always irritate the shit out of me with their relationship because there's only so much cajoling and
Yes.
hand-holding you can do before you're finally like, figure it out,
Yeah.
bro.
We're getting married. I'm going to now be your partner, not just like your buddy.
And this is marriage
Yeah.
is a business agreement.
Yeah, and it's
a
my credit too
financial
now.
agreement.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you want me to co-sign on this bank loan, like
I
it's
need-
got to be a doable idea.
Yes. What's your corporation bringing to the table?
Yeah.
Because the Lindsay
Oh,
LLC.
you don't have one. You want me to get the papers together for that, don't you?
Correct. And so
I
it's
got
like,
one.
yes, you just met this chick. Of course she's going to say, that's such a great idea. Even if she doesn't believe it.
Yeah.
She's going to say, that's such a great idea. And I'm so excited for you because she's a decent human being. But after you have been unemployed for a year.
Yeah.
And Lindsay has heard a million different brand ideas. You want to start a non-alcoholic sports bar. You want to get into the waterproof leather business. You want we're good. Pick something and go with it. I don't care what it is at this point.
No,
it's like
if
his
you-
perennial therapizing of himself. And I love therapy. And I think you can be in therapy for life as long as you're moving forward and talking about different things.
Right.
But it feels like you always bring this up about Carl. Like it feels like he's not bringing up new things.
No, everything's just like buying him more time to get away with more nothingness.
Which is the same thing with the job stuff, which
Yeah.
is the same thing with the girl stuff, which is
Yes.
this, like, it's all a pattern. And I'm just saying that pattern is stemming from something.
Yeah.
Did
And
you-
sorry.
No, that's right. Nobody's gone and done the S1E1 on this one yet, right?
Yes, I
You're
just
doing
did it.
Summer
On what,
House?
Summer House?
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
everyone
I thought you did Southern Charm.
And then I did Southern Charm.
Got it. Wait. Never
I
mind.
did Summer House and then I did Southern Charm.
Okay. I know that he was drinking before, but I'm by no means a therapist. But I think Carl has like some real survivor's remorse, is the vibe I'm getting from his brother.
Sure, but his brother's passing, which is horrific and tragic, it happened, I think, over 5 years ago. So there were 5 years before the passing of his brother that he still kind of was exhibiting very similar behavior. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying like there's a really
Yeah.
full picture for us to look at that I think includes that and includes his behavior previous.
Yeah. I remember him saying something way back when, right after that was like, he would partied all the time and, had his fun. And like, he didn't, it seemed like he thought that of the two brothers, he was probably the one that, like, his brother might have not been as bad as he was, maybe, or that he was like, oh man, that was the wrong dude to.
He talks about his brother a lot, that like it was a cautionary tale, I guess, is the only way I could think of putting it, where he knew if he kept on the road that he was on, he also would have died. So that obviously inspired him to get sober and all that stuff. But it's like we said last week, like I think he's really hard on himself because he's sober. I think, or like is an addict. I think he's really hard on himself that he maybe comes with way more baggage than someone who's not sober. And I'm wondering if he's letting that stand in the way of his kind of failure to launch with stuff.
Like I said, I think there's a lot going on with Carl. I think that TV's not the best place for Carl, maybe for a little bit.
Yeah, but then he'd have to get a real job. I don't think.
Well, and I
don't think
think
Carl's getting a real job.
there's a little
ever.
bit of this. I think Carl's not been successful. That's a shitty thing for most dudes. Not all dudes, but like, that sucks when you get to an age and you've tried a bunch of things and they just don't work and you can't figure out why. And I'm going to do this and it doesn't work. I'm going to do this. And now your buddies are like, oh, no, I got you, man. Well, come try this. And it still doesn't work. And then your friend has to let you go because of your drinking or not showing up or whatever. Like, and now okay, I'm going to do this idea. It doesn't work. And then you tell, I'm going to do like a soft bar because I'm sober now. And your girl's like, gee, that's the dumbest shit ever, basically to your face. And then your marriage doesn't work out, your engagement. Like, so Carl's having a hard time making something happen. Like, just succeeding in a job where he starts in, wherever, an administrative role and spends 10 or 15 years there just working up the ladder or whatever. That hasn't worked out for Carl. A business hasn't worked out for Carl.
If there's something behind this new business, if there is any, like, that really could be the thing. Like,
Totally.
that is something that is his lived experience that he would be able to relate to with people, the people that come in and feel like he's doing a service to people. And it really could be everything if they figure out how to make it profitable. And I just don't know if that's.
I absolutely agree with that. I think here's the deal. I'm going to say 99% of entrepreneurs fail and fail and fail again before something takes off. Even if you look at this Loverboy wasn't his first idea, and he worked for other startups before he like broke out into his own business. And Carl, yes, had major issues with like that dental. He sold dental equipment, and then got fired from that job because he had, wasn't showing up.
A great discount on those chomps.
At any rate, I just think obviously Carl had his struggles where he wasn't like succeeding at his sales job or his 9-to-5 job because of his addiction issues. Yeah. Totally understand that. But even when he got sober, Carl could have gotten some 9-to-5 job. He just didn't want to do it. And I respect that. I don't want a regular 9-to-5 job. It doesn't suit my demeanor and personality and soul and all of that stuff. So I'm not hating on him for that. But them's is the breaks. When you're in art, we all know that from being in this room. When you're a writer, a producer, an actor, when you're in a creative field or entrepreneurial field in any stretch of the imagination, things are going to go wrong more than they go right.
Yeah.
So the fact that like he hasn't had
I'm
something.
still waiting for the right.
Same, by the way, same.
Any day now, any second.
And Nat and I are Carl's age. So sorry if you want to cut that. I'm Carl's age.
Isn't Carl like 37 or something?
No, I think he's like 41.
Oh, I thought he was.
So
then
I'm still 2 years older than him. But like we're all early 40s. So it's like I don't.
You heard it here. She said all.
So even though I have empathy for it because I experience it myself, it's like right, but that's also life.
Yeah.
And I just feel like Carl is like patting himself, like bubble. He's like the boy in the bubble.
No, he totally is. You know, it was just like funny to watch, or not funny, it's the wrong word, but like when you go straight from a scene with Carl doing that whole get up with the girl and just, can't believe it. I'm just so wronged. And then you go to her and she's still living in the apartment that she found with Carl, that she decorated with him, that she planned a wedding in with him, that she lived in with him, all the things and all. She just decides, oh, I could just light these sticks on fire, call it a day.
It's
and then
sage, Natalie. Show
you know
some
what I'm
respect.
saying, though? Like
Yeah.
if you really want to like simplify like what she does, this will fix that. And then I'll get over all the stuff that I'm living in. And you know, she had a very humbling and humiliating experience happen to her in there. And she just got a new couch. Like that's it. That's all she did.
And a table.
And a table. And if Carl lived there, he almost probably wishes that he did still live there, sans how expensive it is. But just to make it one more reason as to be like, well, it's just still living in the place where all the terrors happened and all my, you know, just all my emotional torment and abuse happened here. So that's why it's just like one more reason that he could be like, well, there's this. So that's why I can't, you know, find my get up and go. And it's just, it's like bring in the girl. That'll buy me 3 months of nobody asking which way I wander. And I will, what's the other one? Like with the sobriety, I've often felt like he really leaned on his sobriety as a reason for why things aren't happening. And like, I'm not saying that he's not, but it's just like there's this pattern of like finding things that will be the reason that he'll be able to say, but this has happened to me. So,
And I actually think what you're saying there is it has nothing to do with his sobriety. His sobriety could be if Carl didn't suffer from alcoholism, it could have been, well, I'm new to this state.
Yeah.
If he wasn't new to this state, it would have been, oh, my parents are getting divorced.
Yeah.
Because
It's always something.
It's always
Yeah.
something. He fixates on something. And he did say, actually, when his parents got divorced, because he was basically an adult when they got divorced, he's like, and I'm just healing from that. It's like something happens to him and he fixates on that. And that's the mask.
Yeah.
That's masking the actual
other stuff.
issue with Carl.
Yeah.
Next on deck, we have Jesse talking to Sierra when he says that he had a crush on her last summer. This is getting so messy. And Jesse thinks that he's threading this needle in like a really great way. And it's like, you couldn't be more obvious that you have a crush on her. And you're looking like did you learn nothing from West last season?
Is this where he goes over there and is like you're being a little hard on West or whatever? And she's like,
That was when they were on the island and they were talking for like an hour. That was like a through line through the whole episode of like, oh, did you see Jesse and Sierra sitting on the thing? And they were on that little island for a really long time. The give him a hug thing was them at the bar, and West walked up and said, "Can I get a look to Sierra just to be like, can I get a peek at the costume?" And then she came in and he's like, "It's kind of scary to be honest." And Solomon was like, "Dude, you're not scared of her, are you?" And she looked at him and was like, "You want to answer?" And he was like, "Yeah, no, full on scared of her." And then they walked away. But that was when he was like, "Oh, come on, just give him a hug." But I think the island conversation, was him being like, because the bedroom was where he was like, "I'm going to talk to her." I think that was even last week.
yeah,
Where he said, "I'm going to go talk to her. This isn't right. We had so much fun, blah, blah, blah."
Yeah.
And then I think the island conversation was Jesse being like, "What's up? Were you ever going to get back there?" And she was like, "No, never." And he was like, "Cool.
okay.
So what's up with you and me then?" Which is creepy as all. Like, I don't know what's going on. And then I'm also like PTSD from Southern Charm and the edit on that this past season. So I'm like, are we bored? Are we losing stories here? Like, are you guys just fucking with us? Is
like
Jesse a total piece of shit?
Yeah,
It's gonna bum me out so bad.
Jesse is trying so hard to see if he can hook up with Sierra. If that, like, even his stuff, not to jump ahead, but even his stuff with the foursome at the end of the episode, like, dude, you're walking the line. And it's because
He's not walking the line. He's dancing back and forth.
yes, that's a way better way of putting it, Mike. He absolutely is. It's like a little kid that you've told that's like heard a curse word and you say to them,
Listen, Linda, at Grandma's house, we can do whatever we want.
Anything we want.
We can do anything we want at Grandma's house.
well, this ain't Grandma's house.
Jesse's at Grandma's. He is at Grandma's house on the weekends when Lexi's not there.
Well, he has a national audience clocking him and he's going to get it.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I don't get it.
Jesse's confessionals are all him just repeating over and over and over again. I really like Lexi. I'm not trying to mess this up. I'm not doing anything suspicious. I'm just being social and the people are just happen to have a vagina. Like, he's saying the same things over and over and over. He's been doing it for the past couple episodes. And it's like, who are you trying to convince? Like, because you're not convincing anyone here.
And
like,
just
is
because you
just
say
yourself?
it doesn't mean
Yeah,
it's
you
true.
just think that if you keep saying it enough, because it's so obvious that like you are very put out by having these restrictions put on you that like
by not being able to put out.
pretty sure you willingly like sought out. Like,
I know what's going on here.
what?
What?
Dudes are so dumb.
Yeah.
Ladies.
Hi. Oh my God. Is that all we need? Like,
Like and subscribe.
said this
See
last
you
week
next
also.
week.
You say it every day.
We retire, Natalie. We've done our
Yeah.
due diligence
No, I
for
literally-
society.
Now my mom will just text me. She'll tell me about something, but she'll end it with, but you know, DRD. Like, my mom made her own acronym for dudes
Oh
who
my
dumb.
God, is that
I'm
good?
sorry. We're pretty
We're
dumb.
changing
We're
the
good at
name of
some
this
stuff.
podcast to DRD.
Dudes are so dumb.
BRB.
Here's what
DRD.
happened. Because West claimed Sierra, which is so dumb, I know. And you can claim it, but
Dibs.
like dibs, right? Called dibs.
She's not
On your
shotgun.
buddy. He still got some PTSD from that. And so when Lexi walked in that door, he was like, dibs on dibs. I got dibs.
Maybe
just
he
didn't
went
want to
in
get
so
fucked
hard on her
again.
to let everyone know, like, I'm.
But
Yes.
because he got last
I
time.
didn't. I
Last
never
summer,
correlated
he
the two.
100%.
until now. Yeah,
and
that
now-
makes so much
yeah.
sense.
What an asshole.
You are completely correct.
Yeah.
With that being
Wait,
said,
which part? The dudes are dumb or
both.
Okay, copy
All
that.
of it. The whole thing. 10 out of 10. No notes.
Yeah.
He's so dudes are dumb, and he specifically is like captain of the idiots right now.
And he had his
being
little captain outfit on.
Oh my God,
This
Captain
is
Idiot.
all
That
lining
this
up.
really is. He thinks he's being so smart about it. So like when he comes in the next morning being like, oh, and she just, I was laying back, but like my feet were towards them so that obviously they knew I wasn't by them.
If
It's like
she
you,
didn't suck your toe, you're like you don't hop in bed with two chicks and a orgy king
Yes.
and get away with that shit, bro. Sorry.
And
Not
by the
happening.
It
way-
was 37 minutes that he
It
was
could
in
have
there.
been
Yes.
3.7 minutes. She's
and
like,
you got
that's-
in the bed,
You went
bro.
in. Like
Yeah.
you went in. That
And
was
you
a,
knew what was going on in there. So it wasn't like you're like, oh, what's happened? Oh, God, I just stumbled in here and now here I am and I have to be polite and keep talking to these people I haven't met yet. He heard that there was a threesome going on in there and he just walks right in like,
Yep.
which like listen.
And gets in bed with them.
Gross.
And takes his sock off so that they can suck on, so one of them can suck on his toe.
The producer
Andy.
asked him, why'd you take your sock off? He's like, no, I was barefoot. They're like, no, you took your sock
No, you
off.
went
And he's
in
like,
with your
oh,
sock
did
on.
I?
I never had my toe sucked
Do you,
before.
so do you think something else
Cool.
happened?
He literally is in bed and they sucked his toe and he goes, and now I'm hard.
I don't
So
think
do you
anything else
think
happened.
that-
I don't think anything else happened, but what I think is if you're trying to be monogamous with someone, that ain't it, dude.
Like Amanda nails it where she's like, when Lexi's here, he's attached to her hip. So it's not like he doesn't like her, but Jesse can't go through a day without there being like the possibility of a blowjob at some point today. Like that's like, it's not like he doesn't like Lexi. He doesn't like not being able to grab and feel and honk like at his heart's
Now I'm with you.
pleasure, you know?
Yeah, we like to honk things.
He likes to tune in Tokyo.
Okay.
Well, fun buns.
Fun.
He's just a little kid. Like again, he had 5 years taken away. So he's still 25. Like, no, he's effectively a 25-year-old
guy
dude
that came
like
out in his 40s that's
6'2"
now
and-
wearing cutoff shorts.
Yeah, dude. He likes girls, man. Girls are fun.
You get a
Don't-
boner and everything.
You should see what happens when they suck your toe. But then don't be trying to like
So yeah,
be in
this
a
is my
relationship
thing.
with
Yeah,
Lexi.
yeah.
No one's got a gun to your head. You're the one who proposed to her with knowing her for 5 minutes.
And said, I love you in your sleep.
Yes. You're like, I had to go meet her mom. You're the one that showed up with flowers.
Yeah.
Like, no one had a gun to your head. It's a free country,
No,
dude.
and he likes to act so put off by the restrictions.
Oh, you're so put off when you're trying to put it in Sierra.
Yeah.
You're so put off when you're trying to almost being a part of a foursome.
Yeah.
And he's so transparent about it.
Yeah.
And I love Jesse, but this behavior is making me want to
He's cringy.
make him hug a cactus with West.
When he is talking to her, it reminded me of that movie Something About Mary, where Ben Stiller like gets Matt Dillon to like go and find Mary, all for the purpose of talking about Ben Stiller and being like, this is a great guy. And then every time he's supposed to report back to Ben Stiller, and Ben will be like, so what'd you say? What'd you do? What happened? And he'd be like, oh, this Mary, man, real big ass. This one. He's like, I saw her. She's looked fine enough. Well, but then she's got the wonk eye now. And he's like, pretty sure she does. Like, it's all just to buy time so he can bang her. Like that's an exaggerated version, but like, that's what it reminded me of, that he's like, oh, be right back, Wes. So anyway, where were we?
Yeah, he's just making sure that she really hates him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aren't you watching him say like just enough of what's happening for him say like, no, but I told you. So he would say, oh yeah, and then one of them sucked my toe and I was walking around all night and how gross is that? And I went to a club and it couldn't have smelled good. Yeah, well, when you're in the room, you're saying, oh, you just gave me a boner. So clearly, like you left that part of the story out. Or when he's talking to West and he says, how would you feel now if Sierra started dating someone? And West is like, oh, relieved. And Jesse's like, really? Did you clock his look?
Yes, he was into it.
You're not... You asked half of a truthful question.
Yeah.
What you really meant to ask was, how would you be cool if I started dating Sierra? The answer's no, Jesse.
Yeah.
But you're asking it like it'd be some Joe Schmo off the street.
I know. I believed Wes, though.
What did Amanda...
Not if it was Jesse, though.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
What did Sarah say that she wasn't homie
hopper? Yeah.
I never heard that before.
I like that she said, like, 'cause she broke it down in such a way where I think so many women, like, it's like the scenario heard around the world when she said this. Have you ever not liked someone at first and then they talked you into liking them? And I'm just like, that has happened to so many women.
Yep.
Not you.
Yeah, you were so in love with me right away.
Yeah.
You thought I was so funny.
No, I really did. It really was. But that is
I can
how
attest
roll.
to that. Actually, I was here, so literally here.
But it's like you go out of your way to just sort of give this person a chance. It's be like someone's calling you about a job every day, a job that like you never entertained before. This is a job you made fun of. You probably thought it was like the worst way anybody could spend 8 hours a day. But then like your friend's calling you every day with a new thing about it. Like, well, and it just sounds like it's low stress, good pay, you're in control, you're in the driver's seat, you can work from home, whatever. And you're finally just like, oh, I'll interview, and then like, not only do you not get the job, you find they didn't call you. You find out when you get a New York Times notification. By the way, we interviewed Sierra, and we're deciding we're not going to go forward with her. And I just think so many women have been through a situation like that where you're like, I didn't even like it. Like my mom always says this to me about my dad, Stan, in Oklahoma. She was his secretary. And she was like, for a year, every day, asking me out to dinner, asking me to have drinks. And she's like, I was not interested in your dad. I had a boyfriend. He had a motorcycle. Like, I was doing big things, in the best shape of my life. And like, I did not. And she's like, he just wears you down. So I finally go out with him. And then, I'm glad that worked out. Thanks, Dad, for being so persistent.
Yeah, me too.
You're all welcome.
Yeah. Stan, the best.
That's how I feel like what Sarah did to him. And so not only was she never interested to begin with, he convinced her to be, only to reject her. And she's like, I was never seeking this out. And now.
And this is what's annoying because people have such a they only have a short-term memory. So they only remember that, the last we saw of them was at the reunion and she was a woman scorned.
Yeah.
Why was she, let's use our critical thinking skills, people. Why was she a woman scorned? Because she had been 2 years prior, she'd been screwed over by Austin. She wanted to do it differently this time. She was so clear with him every step of the way. She literally told him on camera what happened with Austin. And his exact words in the confessional were, that made me know, like, I really want to go for this. And like, it made me like her even more because I see that she's serious about this.
Yeah.
Like, he was not trying to hit it and quit it with her. No. And the minute he got her, taking her home to meet whatever, all the things that we know, and we'll get into it later, it's just like she couldn't have been more clear. And she wasn't playing games with him. And then she just gets clobbered. And now, whatever, we'll get it. Should we just get into it now, or should we keep going? Because we have to talk about the Kyle Craig stuff.
No, we can't. We can just whatever you want. But I just want to say about about West. I don't know if this is problematic or an unpopular opinion because I'm not trying to say like I want to hear some really super private details, but I do think it's time for West to tell America like why didn't it work out? And it can be as simple as like I just lost attraction for her, which we'd all be like
that's a fucking lie.
That's weird. But like, it's happened to everyone where you just like don't feel the same way
maybe,
about
attraction.
them.
Come
or
on.
like she's like this, she does this a lot, I do that. It just became so clear that like we were not compatible. It was awkward. Like these things just like I just need to, you got to tell us why this didn't work. Cause right now it just seems like you jeopardize a relationship that you describe as like being the best summer of your life, the best times. We were Pip and Jordan and whatever. Like you decided that your boner was more important, and you jeopardized all of that. And that's all we really can assume. If you just tell us what it really was, it'll be like ripping off a Band-Aid. I'm sure it'll be hurtful for 5 minutes, but everyone will get it and we can move on from there because something happened.
It's one of two things. Either it's the most obvious answer, which is usually the right answer.
Yeah, we boned and then I wanted to bone other people.
Correct.
Yeah.
And all these chicks are sliding into my DMs. He
Yeah.
has literally millions of women now following him, or whether it's on social media or just like coming to events that he's doing, because Bravo's audience is majority women.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at these quotes from the New York Times article when he's like, ultimately, I think I handled the reunion horribly, but I still stand by the decision I made. I think our relationship ran its course. I hope that decision doesn't haunt me forever, even though I still think it's the right one. All he keeps saying in all of these quotes is just that like our relationship ran its course. Our relationship ran its course.
So it just like insinuates it like he just wasn't into her to stay, and
so it's either
he got to sleep with her a bunch of times
and now wanted to sleep with other women.
Yeah.
Or they did sleep together and he like didn't think they had good sexual chemistry, and like I think they had fun, period. So I don't think it was like a personality difference. I think it really was. And she's a go-getter. She's not like because I think also that could be a thing. Like, oh, is she just lazy, not doing anything? But Sierra seems like a real go-getter.
Yeah.
You can't finish nursing school and like do everything that she's done without being a go-getter. So then maybe they just didn't have good sexual chemistry.
Yeah.
But I also like, how are you making out with someone and having all of that foreplay and then having bad sex?
That's what is.
Why I think it's I think it's the most obvious answer is the answer.
That he just was like, no, I've got a plethora of hoes that I can just ram through.
Because correct. Even if you like, he said something here that made me wanted to put his head through a wall when he's like, he goes, I don't think it was the right place to end the relationship on those things. I don't remember what that was referring to. I think I would have, this is what he said. I think I would have read more honest if I was just like, the relationship ran its course. I don't think we were meant to be together. That's it. I think me trying to deflect the actual relationship and name all these external things made me sound like an idiot. He's talking about him at the reunion.
Did he name external things?
Yeah, because at the reunion, he was just like, I just have never been in this position before. And like the Bravo audience is mostly women. And he's like, it was just me trying to deflect.
Right. So he pretty much does just admit that like he just wanted to.
But then when he says, I think it would have read more honest. How about this? Just be honest.
I know.
And then it will read honest.
I know. And when he's there and Jesse's over there talking to her, he's standing in like a circle of party goer girls that are all just like, he's like commanding all their attention. And he's like kind of nodding over there and telling them like, oh God, I wonder what they're talking about over there. Like he really acts like this whole thing, he's just like so distraught about it. But like, I just don't believe that. I still believe that he's using it as just a way to like remind people that like, I nailed her and she was heartbroken about it.
Oh, I think he is annoyed by it.
No. I think he is, but there is so much to be gained from that. And I think he knows that. And I feel like she's on Watch What Happens This Week and she says something like, he is a way better actor than any of us ever knew. And that's current. That's live as of a couple days ago. So
Wait, Sierra says that about Wes?
yeah. And again, I know that she's got her things to say and like you're not going to take her for face value. There is one other thing that I kind of realized, a parallel situation with Sierra that like I don't even know if she's aware of or has thought about, and maybe it's not going to matter to anyone, but like, you know, I don't care that she's not keeping Lexi on the forefront of her mind with respect to this. Like, she doesn't know her really. She doesn't owe her anything. She's known Jesse for longer and whatever. So I'm not mad about that. But like, Lindsay also knew Austin for longer. Lindsay and Sierra were also not friends. Sierra was obsessed with Austin and was real mad about Lindsay, like, basically doing what Lindsay wants to do. And we were all on Team Sierra because, you know, Lindsay was a ferocious asshole and super obnoxious. That birthday was one of the most obnoxious nights Lindsay's ever had.
Totally.
Like, I think about it and it like makes my eye twitch. That was just like, God, I hated Lindsay then. But this is like pretty similar. And it's also another guy who is like basically a proven fuckboy that like you're kind of entertaining now. Like I've said it before, like, this is from a massive Sierra stan. Like, you are asking for a lot of this. Like, you're not making a lot of choices that are giving us a lot of room to like root for you or be like, oh, you're still getting wronged. You know, like you're setting yourself up for another situation. And also, that girl isn't here this weekend and she's just a little puppy. I'm just a baby. I don't know. Like, it's just like the circle of life, I guess. But, you know.
Listen, they're all in murky situations at best. I think with the Lindsay thing, I would find it, if I were in a house with Lindsay, I wouldn't be able to have a girl code with her, which I know sounds terrible, but that's just because Lindsay had a new dude every week if she was single.
But Sarah I wasn't asking her to have one for Lindsay. She was mad that Lindsay didn't have one for her. But right now it seems like Sierra's not having one for Lexi.
Even though Lindsay and Austin hooked up before Sierra and Austin hooked up.
Yeah, like,
so like Austin and Lindsay hooked up.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, maybe a year later or something, Sierra and Austin hooked up.
Yeah.
And then at the birthday party, Lindsay hooked up with Austin.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Sierra's not hooking up with Jesse.
Right, but
you're just saying because they're
dancing
there's
around
heavy
and
flirting and petting
like,
going
she's gonna,
on.
you know, we all go back to just like what they're going to be shown and like, does Lexi have any idea that this is going on right now? And Jesse's still talking to Lexi about like, oh, I had such a great day with Sierra today. But like,
that's what I'm talking about with Jesse.
Yeah, talking all about it's the West stuff, really conveniently leaving out all the really inconvenient parts about it. And I just wonder if Sierra takes for a moment and goes, this is going to be uncomfortable. Like when she is. I don't know how much time they've spent together. There's so many hours that we don't see that it's filmed every day. So I don't know. I don't think Sarah owes her anything, but I think that Sarah might try to remember how she felt when Austin came to visit and ended up hooking up with Lindsay instead of her. And like, it's just.
She's definitely walking the line, but thus far hasn't done anything like Lindsay's past behavior.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, yeah. No, not at all. It just is one of those things of a girl.
Just be careful.
Yeah, just saying. Like Lexi's just not here right now. And she's going to be back next weekend. And she's probably going to hear about the toe sucking. And she's going to hear about him crawling on top of you, slip and sliding on top of you on a raft. And I don't know. Do you like Jesse? If you do, great. If you don't, stop, knock it off.
Don't you think when he was doing that stuff to her on the raft, like I could see her a little like, bro, I'm uncomfortable with this. Like, get off of me. Not in a like you're a creep way, but just kind of like when he's like, oh, I slipped. She's like, stop. Like, I don't think she was just, I don't think she was.
I missed that scene.
I think
the slip and slide raft?
No, the stop part.
No, last
I
week.
remember her being like, me.
See, I think last week she was more kind of like, stop, like get off. And then this week, I think she was more in on the playful flirting with him.
This is the same weekend. This is the same.
No, that was on a Sunday, right? Wasn't it?
Because isn't this episode and last episode just broken up of a one? It's the same party.
Maybe.
Last week was the pirate party, and then it just is ending. It's like.
But that wasn't at the pirate party.
Yeah, it was the day before or something.
Well, it had to be the same weekend because Lexi's not there.
Yeah.
Which I don't miss
Again,
her.
Lexi's new. I don't even know if she's going to be around and whatever. She's also opening herself up to another guy who is just playing the same bullshit games that all the other guys do that we've held them all account for. At a certain point, Sarah, take control.
See, I don't think Sarah's going to hook up with Jesse.
Not to lift the old curtain, as they say in the biz, but I'm just sitting here wondering why Paige and Danielle are the only two people who ever found a boyfriend outside of the TV shows.
Well,
Hannah did, and she married him.
yeah. I mean, I think
But she was, I guess he came for a little bit, but for the most part, like all these idiots are like, no one finds boyfriends and girlfriends in normal places where they live anymore. Like
No.
all the reality people are like, oh no, I'm gonna like Sierra's been around for a while now. If she's such a catch with such an amazing heart, how come Sierra's never shown up to the summer house with, oh, I'm seeing a guy, it's been 4 months, it's pretty serious. Oh, is he gonna come? He might come, but I don't know. You know, it's always,
yeah.
let's see who I'm gonna fucking make a bad decision with this summer
Yeah.
house.
I think it's got to be such an easy trap to fall in. To like, look at Southern
Well,
Charm.
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean by lift the curtain. Is like there's got to be some like I said, you know, the only thing worse than what was we were talking about? The only thing worse than something on a reality show is being single on a reality show.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't remember what the other thing was.
I
but
can't
like,
remember it either. But
nothing is worse than being single on a reality show. Like you're really on the chopping block. But if you boo up, you're golden. So that's not a secret, and that's probably something that if producers will tell if you're slacking and you're not getting the scenes, and well, then you might want to bang somebody. Oh well, I've been seeing this
that's
dude.
like the rumor of why, the Lexi's friend is no longer on the show because she was not honest and she actually had a boyfriend back home who was not going to be on the show, and so she would never be there to like. Because they were looking for people to replace, like how you were talking about. There's a pregnant lady here. There's a guy out on the wagon. There's a married couple. Like you got to replace. You got to.
We need some alternates.
Yeah,
in here.
you need some alternates. I don't know. I don't think she's gonna do anything serious with him either. I think it's because we have been standing her so much, and then there's so many people in the comments that are like, "Am I the only one that thinks Sierra's a problem?" And I'm like, "Maybe." You and the 247 other people in the comments.
I'm sure they're right. I just have such a blind spot with her because I really like her.
So I'm just trying to do that thing where it's like,
day.
yes, I'm calling out the things that I notice that could be problematic. Okay,
but if she doesn't hook up with him, then she really hasn't.
No, she still has. Just because she decided to not once. I brought this up in the like way back that like we were all shitting on West and this whole thing, and I was like, wait a minute. Sierra seems to maybe have a pattern here that we might want to ask about. And a bunch of people were like, yes, she does have. And then also enough people were like, oh, you shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. Sierra's perfect and there's no pattern. These boys are assholes.
I feel like it was
No. We said, we were like, she has a bad picker.
Yeah,
100%. She picks
not you guys on the interweb.
Oh.
Yeah. But we had this whole conversation.
Yeah.
She's got a bad picker. And I was like, great. So when you have a bad picker, at what point do your friends step in? Like, this girl's so amazing. All these girls love her. All these boys love her. Oh, cool. Then someone find this amazing, perfect angel of a girl a boyfriend already.
It's not that easy.
Apparently not. It's pretty easy when you're not a problem.
Okay.
I am a problem, dude, and I've got her. Like, this is not that difficult.
Yeah, that's what happens for dudes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
way different for dudes. Also, I'm saying that if she doesn't hook up with Jesse, I don't think she's done anything horribly wrong. In the sense of like, yeah, maybe she was flirting with him a little bit, but they never slept in bed together. They never made out. They weren't holding hands. They weren't.
Wait, if she doesn't hook up with him.
Yeah, if she doesn't hook up with him, she hasn't
I
pulled a Lindsay.
Yeah, sure. But it's definitely like, I'm definitely giving her the side eye. Like, whoa, bro. Just because she's not putting a kibosh to it, like a full stop. Like, dude, don't. We're friends. That's your friend. Your little girlfriend or whatever she is, who you talk about and call 50 times a day, is not here. Like, stop. Just stop. Call Lexi and tell her, hey, it's over. Don't come back next weekend. And tell West, hey, I'm going to go try to pursue something with your ex-girl that you used. And then come talk to me. But otherwise, shut this shit down. I've not seen that. All I
I
see
would love
is
that. Oh my God, I would
giggles
love
and
that.
fucking tee and no, he's my brother. Yeah, whatever, dude.
Yeah, do you remember how we had to censor him last time?
Yeah,
You just
exactly.
curb it right there.
You better zoom in on Mike's lip bites
So
and
I
his
just
He's when he calls
not
her
mine, they're hers.
and she's like, he calls her literally 2 seconds before he goes into the restroom and just starts peeing for 2 hours, and then gets on the bed and starts talking to her like, oh, the thing about, Sierra, oh, had a great day with her, blah, blah. She gives him like a thoughtful response of like, well, you did what you could, and like you can be friends with them separately, and then maybe by the end of the summer, like they'll be whatever.
Dude,
And
you can hang out again.
he like, yeah, he like dumbs out, just like stops listening to her,
Scratches
and
his
sits up,
balls.
scratches his balls. I feel like it was something or like the vibe was that, like,
Yeah.
if it wasn't that specific, it was like, it felt like he was scratching his balls because you could tell that he was just like got distracted about just there's a pool out there, I forgot. But he when he says to her, I jerked off this morning so that I wouldn't have to
miss you.
which I think he realized pretty immediately, like that was the wrong sentence.
Keep that shit to yourself.
Yeah.
There's only one reason you do that when your girlfriend's out of town.
Yeah.
And so you are not tempted to bang because you're like, man, I'm bored, I'm
Because
tired
dudes
now.
are dumb.
Yeah, I just want to take a nap
so
after
you
that.
immediately have to mount
Dude,
someone
he
the
said
second
that?
that you walk
By the
out.
way, women aren't
That
like
was a drunken, like, I'm going to say this, it'll be so sweet. And you say it, and halfway through, you're like, oh, son of a bitch, I did not think this one through. That was so stupid.
Oh, God.
Speaking of dumb guys, Kyle and Craig.
Hold on, I need some crackers.
No,
for
one
this
smart
one.
guy and one dumb.
If you go get
Craig's
your
pretty
crackers,
dumb.
you want to get me a Coors Light?
Sure.
Thanks. Bring the good snacks.
I really can't get over how.
Cute Craig is.
Oh yeah, that. But also the timeline of these shows. One films in the spring and or like late winter, early spring, and one films in the summer. If she was 20% checked out, then she's 85% checked out now. Like she has just even in those little pajamas in that kitchen, she was just so much more like
Not checked out there.
no,
I
like
did
her
not think
eyes
she
were
was.
just like brighter. She was just bright-eyed, and like
She was still trying when she was in the kitchen. Now
Yeah.
she's not even trying.
yeah, so
She's like, I'll interview you. You might be
down to her
fired.
being like, I'm a professional. I'm here this weekend. I'm, got my call sheet. So I'm showing up and I'm doing my job right. Like it could have been as little as that, but I still just don't think she looked nearly as aggravated with him and just completely turned off by him as she does this weekend. Agreed. And he's like, well, we didn't even get to hang out. She's like,
can you grab your phone? And he grabs it. And she's like, can you lay down? He's like, what? She's like, can you get on it? He's like, what? Why? She's like, so I can get on mine and not feel bad. But when she says that, can you get on it?
no, thank you. No,
Oh, that
Kyle
shit was so
and
funny.
Craig.
Way to go, Kyle. You won that round.
You think?
Kyle? Oh,
Do you really think that?
God. You're so nuts.
Yeah. Sorry, Christy. Craig's getting too big for his britches.
But he didn't win that round. You could say that like people are starting to see him for the master maneuverer
If he
that
didn't
he
win,
is. But
Craig lost.
How
I don't
did
know
he
if there's
lose?
like a Kyle won, but Craig lost. Craig went in with everything that you were saying. Oh, he's going to set him up. He's waiting for him. And he's going to let Kyle explode. And Kyle was the one that sat back and let him explode, in my opinion. Craig made an ass of himself.
Craig didn't explode.
How?
He turned the whole thing back around on Kyle, and Kyle had his tail between his legs afterwards, dropped everything, and ended up being the one to apologize.
Oh.
Kyle apologized to Craig. Craig didn't only not apologize, he doubled down and said, I don't feel bad. You expect too much from your friends. You're taking money out of people's pockets, and then you told the world that I was a liar. If you don't apologize for that, then we have a problem. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry, man.
He didn't. He said, I don't care.
Right, which is the notorious Kyle. One time he goes, no, okay, you're right, I'm sorry. Like he doesn't stick to it. He said no one time, just like he did. No, we're going to talk tonight. No, we're not. Okay.
When they sat down, they start getting into it. He's like, I don't know why you had to do this deal, whatever. And Craig's like, here's what happened. I told you I told you there was this deal on the table.
Let me bullshit you to your face so we don't have to do it over text. Carry on.
And then I signed the deal, I let you know I was going to do it, and then like the deal came out or something like that. It was basically like his easy bake oven of how this seltzer deal happened. And Kyle's like, that's not what happened though. And this is, and I love Craig, but this is where I think he gets a little bit of that liar rap.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure what actually happened was he told Kyle, oh, this deal just presented itself to me, when in actuality, they were signing it the next day.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that that's the
Craig
issue.
doesn't understand why Kyle's mad. Kyle's like, I'm mad about a thing. And Craig's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I just did a fucking business deal and put it out in the press. And we're two celebrities that everybody knows about. And I don't see why me going with another exact competitor drink person is a big deal, Kyle. And Kyle's like, are you stupid? Like, if this was us, who nobody knows at all, like, who cares? Who gives a shit? Nobody's going to know that I invested in a different company than my friend, because nobody knows who the we are.
And that comes like there.
And we could put that out on Instagram, and 700, who am I kidding? 17 people would know that, oh, Mike did a spritz and Natalie also has a spritz. Like, nobody would give a shit. These two are in the public eye. Kyle's marketing and PR got smashed. That's what Craig did. Craig smashed him. He probably meant to do it.
He meant to do it? You think he went out of his way to be like, F you, Kyle?
Probably. Because now he's pulling all the shit from his shelves. Because why? Because Kyle called you a liar? Craig, you're a liar, dude. You've said it. Like, I'm so tired of people doing these things, and then when someone's like, hey, you did that thing, they're all offended. Oh, how dare you say I did the thing? But you did the thing. No, I know I did the thing, but how dare you say I did the thing? Oh, okay. So you're just allowed to do this bad things, and no one's allowed to be like, hey, you did that bad thing, remember? And now I don't trust you, remember? Because you did the bad thing. Oh, you can't. And so Kyle doesn't trust him. And now Craig's like all sad about that and pulling from his. And so, like, my thing is just that Kyle is trying to tell Craig, the thing you did hurt my business. I don't care if you didn't want to invest. I don't care if whatever, like, you lied about it. You did all this. Cool. Yeah, that's who you are. At the end of the day, it's tanking. Like, you basically just went out and shit on Loverboy.
If you think that Craig was going to save his business,
I don't think whatever. So you and this were having the same conversation. You guys are so into Craig and like think Craig's so amazing and can do no wrong and have blinders on.
I just said Craig lied.
Like, I feel bad for Kyle because he put all of his money into a business that seems to have gone nowhere. Like, but not really. Like, it's still like, we got it here. Like, maybe this whole thing is helping him. I don't know. But
Kyle did say he's outselling that seltzer spritz company, like the Seltzer v. Seltzer.
Yeah.
He said they're outselling, just so you know. I don't know if that's true, but he said you can check the numbers. They're public.
I actually don't think that it's true because
drink.
This stuff is in Targets across the country now, and it still is like pretty hard to find Loverboy. Like, not everybody can find it. Because we've tried to find it before. We've tried to find Austin Kroll's beer too. Yeah, and it's just
that shit's impossible to find. If you can find it, it's like $50.
Yeah. So I imagine if it's in every Target as of this last week, all across the nation,
those stats may have changed.
I got a feeling those stats changed in about the first hour of business. But anyway, like I think that I will always go back to that. Everyone is out there doing everything that they want to do, and I just don't. And I understand what you're saying, that like, this was like a direct hit, like just the optics of somebody investing in a different company is bad enough. But I just don't think that, like, I just truly don't believe that you are responsible for someone else's business. And I never believed that Kyle and Craig were that good of friends. Like, I just think that they were like show friends, and like, we got girlfriends that are friends. Like, Craig is doing his own thing. He runs his own business 180 degrees different than Kyle. Like, how Kyle has this like expectation of people to do, honestly, like, this stuff is not good.
I think
the spritz is good. This stuff is not good. Like, it's okay. There's a couple. What? Sorry. I haven't had any drinks.
I'm referring to the drinking game everyone's playing at home.
I was talking. You just interrupted me. I'm sorry, but that's literally what I mean. Was I not over here on my rant? I understand that if I go out and buy a gift box with engraving on it, that is like, I know that it might be a little weird to you, like, why, I sell those, right?
Yeah.
You bought 17 from me already. Why not the 18th? Like, I get all of that. But it's just like Courtney and I are like sisters. Like Kyle, I just don't believe that Kyle and Craig are like that good of friends.
I don't think they are either. And I don't think Kyle or Craig has a responsibility to anybody. He can do whatever the he wants. And I don't think Kyle is so demanding of his friends' money and what. Like, I don't think he gives a shit. Like, invest, don't invest, whatever. I think Kyle is mad that there maybe was some talk at one point that this could happen. All of a sudden, he gets a text from Craig being like, hey, there's this opportunity on the table. I 100% agree that the papers were coming tomorrow. Like, we've already gone through contracts. It's been negotiated. That I'm signing tomorrow, right? He texted and is like, hey, man, just want to put it out there, bro. There's potentially this thing. And Kyle's like, yeah, cool. Let me give you one. Let me send one too, and let's see if we can make this happen. And Craig said no. Craig said no and said to the world, I'm not going with Loverboy.
But
Why?
you know that nobody would have ever
know.
really
Let me
known
plant some
about
spritzers
it.
in the backyard. You keep saying this because Kyle brought it up. He didn't. You think Craig was never going to do that cute little post that you sent us where he's planting spritzers in his little fucking garden? He wasn't going to promote.
But you would have never known that Kyle really wanted Craig to invest. Like Loverboy has been around for several years. I don't know where they're at in their fundraising stage.
We're never going to see eye to eye.
But
Craig, Kyle. Craig, Kyle. He did 100%.
Craig lived his life as a grown-ass man doing his own thing.
But
Kyle's been doing his own thing all this time, and nobody owes anyone anything. And everything that Craig said was exactly what I would say to him. He said, like, this is just business. And then when I said that to you, you were like, oh, that I hate it when people say that. Insinuating that this is just business means that I'm doing something shady, which I'm just making money, man.
But that's not wrong. Like, that's a pretty classic. It's not all the time, but that's pretty classic what you said. Man, it's just business, man. Just business. Yeah, you're saying that because you fucked me.
Listen, I think maybe why it feels a little
It doesn't mean that it's not just business.
I think that
it doesn't mean that Craig can do whatever he wants.
So many times because I feel bad, I will do something for someone. I will get involved in something. I will go out of my way to help someone. And it's like, I have my own life to live. I've got my own bills to pay. I have my own checks to write that are past due and whatever. And like, there's just something that's like,
that
Craig I see
doesn't.
someone that just decides, no, I'm not. But at a certain point, like investment decisions, like, sure, I'm sure he could have thrown his friend 25 grand, but like, maybe like it would have been a pity. Like it would have just.
Yeah, I've said all this. I said to him too, like I said this, that Craig has a team of people who run his every fucking move, right? So when he probably was like, hey man, I'm gonna do Loverboy, they were like, So the sales on Loverboy aren't great. There's a lot of sugar and blah, blah, blah. There's this other company, Spritz Society, that's come up, and they're in targets all over the world. So we think it's a better business opportunity, Craig, for you to do this.
And way more in line with every other thing that we're doing. Even just this can. This is a can that you would sell next to one of those pillows. Look at this can. This is a Party Boy can. It's just like, if you are doing all of these things and you are just at the precipice of building what could be this gargantuous business, all of those things still matter. And I just think that like we're totally not taking into account that like Craig's life has changed. He has built something. He is a part of something. Yes, he might have, I don't care if he has 100 people. He is still the face of it. He is making decisions for it. These are very different products.
These are, but this thing is what Kyle was launching. Craig knew he was launching it.
Mike,
listen,
do you even see the can?
All right.
Like, but I don't, like, listen, I don't know a ton about business, but like, I think it's all kind of supposed to, in the beginning, you got to.
Craig is an alcoholic, right? Apparently addiction problems. Craig's an alcoholic. This is his new storyline now. For the last year, 2 seasons maybe, Craig's been like, hey guys, I can't be seen. His whole image, right? And the boys are super fucking pissed about it, right? This is the whole thing. Craig, you can invest in anything. Go make some more pillows. Make some more outdoor shit. You have an entire company with 3% of your catalog filled out from where it's going to be in 10 years. Go be Martha Stewart, Craig. You don't need to do this. I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying he can't go live his life. This was a kick in the nuts to Kyle, period. And Kyle's just saying, hey, bro, you kicked me in the nuts in front of everyone. That's kind of up, and I'm a little pissed about it. And Craig's like, oh, well, I don't know, bro. It's just business. And then Kyle said, yeah, I don't know about this dude. He kind of lied about it. He's telling his side of the story. And now everybody's like, I can't believe you said Craig's a liar. Well, Craig's a liar. He's fun and cool, but he's successful, and he's also
a childish thing to do. You're just out of control, and you're pissed that your buddy didn't do you a solid. But it's just completely.
He's not pissed about that Craig didn't invest. It wasn't even on the table until after Craig said, "Hey, this other thing came up."
Right.
And Kyle's people were probably like, "Dude, that's gonna kind of suck if this dude who's like your buddy, whether it's real or not, invests in a." Wait, what did you say it was? It's a lemon wine spritzer. Kyle, we have lemon wine spritzers getting packaged right now. What the? Yeah, he's doing it in the exact same flavor. Jesus, Kyle, you need to send him something. Okay, let me get on the fade, bro. Let me just and what did Craig? No, he knew. Just like you said, he manipulated I need to get a refill and walked around and cock blocked him, like Jesse said. This is what he did here. That's why he waited till the day before to send him hey man, just an opportunity came up. No, it didn't.
I'm
you
trying to think of
Craig.
Because
planned it and manipulated the whole thing.
Listen, I think that everything that you're saying it's not like I don't think that Craig was very strategic with how he handled this whole thing, and that he made those decisions and plotted out the days and the way he did everything, from making him wait, going up, checking his emails, eating some salt and vinegar chips, waiting around where Kyle looks like a total moron just sitting in this inflated boat by himself and on a fake lake.
Yeah.
And even Jesse, who acts like he's just this dopey kid, doesn't know what's going on, needs his big brother and big sister to tell him, when he spots in 2 seconds and goes, Kyle's getting big dicked right now.
By the way, that's why Jesse can't, he's not a kid. He's in his 30s.
No, exactly. He's like that's why
Jesse, you're not fooling anybody.
Yeah, no, Jesse's probably watching Craig and being like, learning from the master.
Yeah, literally. Especially how to get your ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So all the things that you're saying, I think that they can all be true. And I will still, at the end of the day, believe that Craig absolutely did the 1000% right thing. And the fact that this thing is in Target already in 5 seconds, I am sorry, but that is a massive investment, a massive business investment that he is now a part of that could set him up for a very long time. And I just think, I'm sorry that your friends, cans, do not go with what I've been putting out there. And I'm sorry that it's not doing that well, but you didn't consult with me on any of this stuff. And I just think these are 2 grown men. Grow up and live your lives.
I have a question. And I think you may have just answered it, because I actually think you guys are arguing 2 different points.
Yeah, of course. Hi. Been trying to tell everyone.
I'm new here. Mike is not arguing the fact that this was a good business idea for Craig and it could bring him a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think Mike is arguing that it was a messed up thing to do to his friend. And I think what you're saying is you never really believed they were friends. And that saying of, oh, it's just business actually does apply here, because we're not that good of friends. And I saw the brass ring and I was going to reach for it.
Right. And Kyle showed immediately, just his reaction to what happened showed immediately, you don't want to be in business with Kyle. You don't or vice versa. You guys are not built to, you guys are both trying to put your dicks on the table all the time.
Nobody on earth is arguing what you're talking. You are saying that milk goes in cereal.
Listen,
yes,
no,
we
but
know
okay,
that.
Fine. If the question is, did he Kyle over? No. They're grown men making business decisions. It is not a you. It's a sorry, not sorry, no thanks, good luck.
Someone's handing me a winning lottery ticket.
Yes,
I'm going to take it.
And I never was going to get involved in your company anyways. I never wanted to be involved in your company. I've had a lot of money for a very long time, way long before I met the Spritz people, and I never invested then either.
You know what the real issue is here? Maybe Craig went about it in a shady way because I really do think what we just said is correct, where he's saying hey man, this deal just arrived, came across my desk, and as he's literally signing it.
Yeah.
So I think the timeline was a bit off as Craig was saying this to Kyle. So of course there was no real chance
I'm sorry to interrupt you. So he
drink.
He lied to Kyle, and in last week's episode, we kind of maybe find out that he lied to Paige too. because Paige said, well, he called you. And Amanda goes, he didn't. And she was like, the look on her face. And now we're in this storyline of he's a hater. Da, da, da. So he lied. He fucking lied. He did a deal. He lied about it. Fine. Cool. Great. Your cans are so pretty. They match your pink flamingo pillows. Cool. All that fine. Great business deal. I wouldn't go into business with Kyle either. I've said that a million times. Yeah. That being said, he lied about it. It's a story on public in the
on PBS,
yes, like,
next to the Masters.
That part, like I understand what you're saying about like how you think that Craig wasn't going to come out and do his little like on my sprouting cans. Like yes, of course I do, but no one would have known that there was a choice to be made. That there was like
there wasn't. There was okay.
No,
I think you're just missing why Kyle's mad.
But
you're
why do you?
The point.
But you're asking like do you not see like that there was. Like that nobody would like all the things that you're talking about, the optics have been blown up and
because
broadcasted
of Kyle's actions.
Because of Kyle's actions. There's a million companies out there. Nobody even would know to say Kyle was begging Craig to invest
so
and
he
didn't. It would just look
way.
like everyone's doing like there's all these brand deals going on everywhere all the time. Jesse's got his Truly is the same company that Hannah had that Kyle freaked out about. And like not hearing it anymore haven't heard anything from Kyle about Jesse within that Truly
probably
ad.
because he realizes
this is not a good look.
It's not a good look. And this is what I was going to say. Do I think Craig went about it in a shady manner, like telling Kyle, hey, I'm going to do this deal, or this deal just happened to come across my desk right now and really they've been crafting it for months? Yes, I do think it was shady. Do I think he probably told Craig like, hey, I called Kyle and it was a text or whatever, and now Paige is probably upset with him saying, I went to bat for you. And if you're saying you called and it wasn't a call, that makes me look bad. And all those things are going on behind the scenes, right? Which are not the best look and are causing friction between all of these people. 100%. The problem comes in, and I think this is what Nat's trying to say, is that the way Kyle handled all of it, you could have the best point ever. And if you're handling your explanation of it or like how you were wronged in a crappy way, you just get the shit end of the stick, even though you're right. So Kyle could, to your point, Mike, be totally right that, hey, that was a messed up thing. You don't do that to someone you're even mildly friends with, let alone like the relationship that we have, which is really unique and our girls are best friends, blah, blah, blah. Because haven't you seen those situations happen in pop culture where someone like really steps in it or whatever, but they handle it so well that all of a sudden they're like millionaires and they've got t-shirts that they're selling because of it. And like everything just because they handled.
Craig invested in another spritz company and all I got was this stupid t-shirt.
Right. Like
my best friend texted me and all I got was this stupid lover boy
like
t-shirt.
If Kyle just handled, not that Kyle what happened to him was cool. It seems like it was really uncool. However, he just handled it in a way that made him look like the bad guy, right? No, maybe not. I don't know.
Made Craig look like the bad guy? Or
no, made Kyle look like the bad guy. Because yes, I get what you're saying, that business is business. And I do believe that.
I also just like want to give you an analogy. Like, and this isn't even the perfect one because I've thought of it like 5 seconds ago. Like if I am working still in development for that TV company and you're selling a script and I'm just trying to think of like, even if we're great friends, but we're working in two totally, like we are working for ourselves, trying to make either money for our companies or are trying to sell our things or whatever. Like until that deal is signed and the ink is dry and check is cash, check is in the whatever, like you don't tell anyone about a deal. I don't think it is a friend or not. At a certain point when you've got partners and investors and whatever, like your friendship about something that you never planned on doing anyways, you're just going to give them a heads up that this thing is in the works. A million things can go wrong on a script deal, on a spritz deal, on a whatever deal, like in between when you're like, you could be in like what you think is like, no, we said we shook hands. It's a done deal, but it's just not until it goes through. And I just don't think that he owed him that piece of information that, like, if it's about the lie, he was telling him that he'll still entertain it. But like, when we are in business with people. It's not just you. You're not just a one-man man making your decisions. You've got people that have invested in you and you're in business with, and you all have this single goal and you're all working together. I don't think that it would have been a wise idea to tell Kyle before it was done and done. Like,
even if that is the case, Nat, because I get what you're saying, but what those actions then tell me is I never, under any circumstance, have any desire to work with your company, because this is my first choice. This is what I want to do. And that's why I'm not even telling you about it, because even if this wasn't on the table, I'm not coming to you to work with you. So he should have just been forthright with Kyle and said, this deal came across my desk and I'm going to sign it, and I'm signing it in 5 minutes. They just handed me the pen. And when Kyle says, give me a minute to come back, he should have then said, with all due respect.
Craig said he said no, and Kyle didn't refute.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
That's in the scene. He goes, you asked me to do it. Or he goes, he said, I told you I was doing this. You told me not to. And Kyle goes, no, I told you to give me a minute. And he goes, and I said no. And then you think, oh, I'm doing this thing to you. And then he brought up the thing about business and personal and whatever.
Let's move on, because I think we're all just arguing different points, and if I can leave it with this. When Kobe Bryant signed with Adidas, Nike was everything. Nike was everything. You don't sign with Adidas. Adidas was fucking Adidas. Like, what are those mom shoes? Kobe signed with Adidas, and every fucking person on the planet, including probably 95% of Nike, went, "What the f***'s wrong with Nike? What happened? What's going on over there? Is Nike in trouble?" That's what happened. Kobe wasn't friends with Nike. He signed with a different company, and everyone thought, "What the f*** is wrong with Nike?"
While I
Same happened with Tiger Woods. He left Nike to start Sunday Red. Everyone was like, "Nike's going on." Like, it's just a public image thing.
I understand,
but these are two
that,
different things we're fighting about.
These guys are not Kobe and LeBron and Nike and Adidas, and like, they're just not. Like I said, this is a regional product. Like, this is just not like. Like, Loverboy is not going to fail or succeed because Craig Conover decided to invest 20 or just not invest. Say he just decided not to do his own company. Like, I just don't think anyone is looking to at this deal and it's going to make some severe impact on
From
this business.
It's image. These liquor brands are all image. It's all image.
Again, this is just such.
And he
these are
took a
small
big
shops.
swipe.
These just aren't massive
It
celebrities.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's scalable, reverse scalable.
I really feel like you think that he owes him something that I will just never agree.
This is not. I've never. Wait, whatever. Let's move on. This is never gonna. We are literally.
Okay, you don't think he owes him anything, but you think that he went about like he really f***ed him on it.
No,
okay,
I think that the whole situation is just Kyle upset that and then that this dude took a gigantic swing at his brand's image. I don't think it has nothing to do with what Craig owes Kyle or doesn't owe Kyle. It has nothing to do with whether they're friends or not friends. It has nothing to do with whether this was a smart or not smart business decision for Craig and sewing down south.
So you're just arguing why Kyle is mad at Craig and not at all about what the right thing to do was. Like, you're just saying, like, I'm just telling you why Kyle's upset.
Exactly.
Okay.
Who cares?
I don't care why Kyle's upset. I just like.
Then what are we talking about?
Well,
why are we in the boat? Why
like,
didn't we just skip this whole scene?
No, we're talking about that whole scene and like, because we're talking about the whole scene. Just because you just want to talk about why Kyle's mad, I'm allowed to talk about why like Craig did.
Why you like that Craig did the deal.
Why I think Craig did the deal and why I'm like just pumped
right.
for him and stoked for him that he did this thing that is like. I just like, once I saw the Target announcement, I just thought, holy shit, to be able to identify that, like if it did go down the way that he said, where him and Paige were in a, what's it called, bus, Astro, what do you call them when?
A party bus on the way to
like a
Taylor.
party bus. Yeah, but he always calls them something specific that production calls them. But on the way to a Taylor Swift concert with Paige, there's a cooler of these things in there. They're drinking them, and they're like, "What is this? This is
Well,
great."
Craig's a storyteller. So do we
and
know all that?
it could be all BS.
By the way, he
I've
is a storyteller because you
and
remember it and
a
love
lawyer.
it.
He's probably crafting the deal on the bus. But if that happened, and even like if it didn't, like I never realized who Ben Sofer was. Like, have you ever seen an account on Instagram that says it's called Boy with No Job or Girl with No Job?
Girl with no job, yes.
So girl is the wife, boy is the dude, and they've got a podcast. And you
guess where she's from? New Jersey.
That totally makes sense. She totally, because she does the toast and he does another show. I can't remember what it's called. But I was showing it to him.
That's their company?
And I've seen the guy's young. Like I just imagined a guy that it was just like an older business fella, like whatever. Like he's probably younger than us. Like anyhow, so I don't know like what exactly if Craig's telling the exact story the way that it happened. But either way, I know that there's a bajillion brands out there to invest in, and the fact of the matter is that the one that he picked has basically took off launch immediately. Like I think that's so cool to have whether it's the vision or the luck, pure luck, whatever it was, to be in the right place at the right time and get this can in your hand and decide I'm going to go with this. And then for that to happen, that kind of distribution to happen, like that's incredible.
You think Craig Conover got that distribution deal at
No,
Target?
of course not. He made a decision to not do this and to go with this.
He bet on Red 7 and Red 7 hit is what you're saying.
Brava. Like, and so I just like what like Kyle's mad about and Kyle's feelings and his argument and the way that he's gone about this whole thing.
God,
now
you guys are head
I
over
just
heels
find
for
it
this
like
dude.
so
I'm
like
not saying anything about
I know, I'm
him.
sorry
it's
to
just
include you.
laughable to me. Like I just am like, you were never in this league. Like Craig is always like he's in a bigger league than you. You couldn't pull it off. Like I'm sorry that your business isn't in every Target in the country now. Like I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry that your friend fell into yet another sweetheart deal and knocked it out of the park. Like I just think like I'm sure that's so frustrating, but I will always view it as your frustration that things aren't going that swimmingly for you. I will always see it as you've made the deal about this that you have because things are shitty, that decisions that you've made haven't been as good as the one that he's made. And I'm sorry, but also I'm not because it's business.
Just business.
And
What
it's
else do we got?
It's just like what? Que suerta. What luck. You know? That's incredible. I'm sorry.
It's totally incredible.
Good luck. Good
Can't
dude. Good on you,
believe it.
dude. Fucking
Can't
mazel
believe.
tov.
Craig, you're so lucky.
I know. And Paige, I hope you find someone as rich as Craig he's gonna be.
You were just saying this is Craig's about to go into his downfall era.
And not in the bank.
Okay.
Just
Listen,
maybe
he might-
publicly facing.
What?
Publicly facing.
Yeah. No, listen, Craig's gonna have to really sing for his supper going forward. I think it's gonna be rough on him, and maybe he'll pay all those dues, and he'll get smacked enough to where you won't be so irritated at him and like what he's gotten like getting to have and gotten to be a part of.
Are you talking to me right now?
No, I'm talking to you right now.
You're saying that I'm irritated at what Craig has.
I think that you are irritated that he is getting to take part in such success right now when you see that he has done none of it on his own. It's been all due to these business partners.
You need to go back and rewatch our shows.
Have you not been the guy that is always harping on he didn't do anything? He's got a team of people.
He does have a team of people. But I've also never said he didn't do anything. He had a vision. He got a team of like
I definitely missed that episode then because I've never heard you say Craig had a vision.
Who came up with the fucking pillows? Who had pillow shams all over his house?
He's been wanting to do this all the time.
But he didn't. Okay.
What, man? He has.
Yeah, sure.
He's like lost women from it.
Naomi lost her.
Yeah, she lost her
mojo
boner.
towards it. Yeah.
Real fast, or maybe actually over a long period of time, and she just couldn't stick with it. And then sometimes I wonder if Naomi, I don't know who she's with now or what her personal situation is, but I do wonder if she's like, if someone's like, hey, are those the pillows that were at your house that you were always throwing out in the backyard?
It's the beta version.
Yep. it was a beta version.
She probably can't even walk by sewing down south without like twitching.
Yeah, and being like, that could have been my life. And like, that's all she really wanted, you know, like she would have been a person that like, she already lived in Charleston. Like, I'm sure she wanted to be a mom and wanted to be a wife and,
Totally.
and all the things. And then she just was like,
Yeah,
I
but
can't
you
do
don't
this.
get that if you don't, like, yes, you can come in late in the game
Yeah.
and then be with him and say something like, oh, I think your vision's amazing and everything that you've done, I've always believed in, but you weren't there from jump. She was there from
Yeah.
jump, didn't believe, so she couldn't jump back in the game to be like, I always knew you were going to make it. Be like, girl, no, you didn't.
Yeah, no,
You made fun of
totally.
me and my sewing machine.
Somebody asked him if he would entertain the idea of giving it another shot with Naomi, and he was like, "Thing about me is that when it's over, it's over. I wish her the best." But
Spoken like a true Aquarian.
I don't look back. Yeah, that's you.
That's me.
Totally you.
And you know, when I'm done, I'm
Yeah, dead and dead to me.
more dead to me than your dead mother. What movie is that for? It doesn't matter. I have a problem because my notes for the rest of this episode are like ping-ponging back between the West and Sierra of
Yeah.
it all and then Craig and Paige. So it's going to be like I'm
Yeah.
on Adderall, or not on Adderall, but maybe should be. Actually, that's why I should. By the way, I do have ADHD, and I'm not on Adderall, so this could explain a lot more than the notes section. I have this note that, listen, I get it. I get that boys mature more slowly than women do. And I really believe instead of saying to little Grits, interesting that he's making a lot of noise while I'm saying this.
Yeah.
Bet.
Exactly. Instead of saying to little girls, like, we say to little girls all the time, like, boys mature more slowly, like, go slow for him. No, say to the boys, she's smarter than you. Follow what she's doing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
so
yeah.
crazy that we're supposed to slow
How do we
ourselves
go from
down
maturity to smart?
because it's all one and the same. So, okay. No, I'm just saying it's very rare to find like a mature old soul that is
7 years old.
No, that's doing a lot of dumb stuff. So, and by the way, yes, I was a mature old soul 7-year-old. I hung out with my grandma all the
I
time.
wore a training bra in the 3rd grade.
I just got boobs last week, so I'm still wearing a training bra, quite frankly. If it was not inappropriate or on a different channel called OnlyFans, I would show it to you. It's literally a training bra.
One day we'll get there.
Okay. These guys, West and Jesse, are driving me nuts with their immaturity. And I get it. They're two young, cute, funny guys on a TV show. And they're looking at Craig being like, how could you ever just be with one chick? And it's like Madison in Southern Charm said something last week that last week in an episode that I was watching last week from last season, where her and Paige, they're having dinner, and Paige said to her, yeah, I just never can like envision myself living on a cul-de-sac, raising a family, doing whatever. And Madison said, and I fucking live for Madison now, so my flip is a fish. Okay, I stan Madison. She goes, I used to feel the same way. I got to be in the middle of all of it, going out every night. And then I met Brett and I said, what cul-de-sac? And I was like, oh, that's so good. That
was a clip that I included that got YouTube kickback. It was like the perfect segue in between two things that we were talking about a couple weeks ago, just to show you that, like, no, not everyone does have to be. I think it was a small town, big town kind of thing.
Yes.
And
a
how,
slow
like,
life. She was saying, I never want to live a slow life.
Yeah. And then it was a way to say, like, not everybody does set out to do it until they meet someone who makes them want to do it. And saying which cul-de-sac was like the perfect.
Is the best.
It was the greatest line ever.
She nailed it. And I think what I'm getting frustrated with these guys about is they're just like, I don't get it. How could you ever just be with one woman for the rest of your life? Okay, then first of all, then nobody's asking you to. Then just be that guy. By the way, I'm sitting next to Mr. Monogamy.
But I'm also like, just be honest. Like,
sorry. I thought you were making fun of me.
No. With him, rule is like, he's not lying to anybody. Doesn't have a girlfriend in the city that he's sneaking off banging hoes on the weekend. Like, this guy likes that life. He says, I like that life, and he lives that life. Good on you, dude. The rest of these dudes are like, oh no, I'm so in love with my girlfriend, but and shove my into her later.
Yes.
Like, fuck off. Pick one.
Mike, bravo. I literally have that same note of well done you of like that's actually the one thing thus far that I'm really into about Imrul. Like just own, I say it all the time, own it and you're free. If you just want to be a fuck boy, just be a fuck boy.
Nobody cares
will
anymore.
care.
Or a fuck girl. Like,
or a fuck
also,
girl.
Nobody
or
cares.
a fuck they. I don't care. Nobody cares. But just don't be putting yourself out there like Jesse being like, but I really like this girl and I want to give it a shot. No, you don't. You know what you want to give a shot at? You want to give a shot at being in Sierra's pants. You want to give it a shot at joining Imrul's threesome and making it a foursome.
Semi-automatic shot where you can be.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm thinking of a different shot than you're talking
Yeah,
about.
you need one of those bump songs.
That's
a bump dong.
Yeah, he wants to be a bump dong. And so it's just like when they say that stuff, I'm like, you're so dumb. Because Craig said it to them perfectly. He's like, right, that's why you are with the girl that like, no, this is it. Like, that's who I would cheat on my girlfriend with.
Oh, that made me wonder something that I'm curious about. Do you remember on Winter House when they were both on it that season and Craig had a girlfriend at the time? I don't think it was Naomi. Maybe it was someone right after Naomi, or maybe it was Naomi. I don't know.
Natalie.
Yeah, I was going to say it was Natalie.
See, I don't remember who Natalie is. Like, I know, like, I remember.
Spoken like a
I remember the
narcissist
name.
Natalie. There's only one Natalie that matters.
Yeah, I can't like put a face to her. Was she blonde or was she
Yeah.
brunette? Oh, she was blonde?
It's Southern Charm. She's blonde.
So he goes to, he's on Winter House. Paige's. They get along great. They're totally like vibing in like a way that I'm not concerned with because Craig is so loyal that he
not a cheater at all.
I remember like the camera, like when they'd all go off to bed, like everyone's like stumbling into rooms and whatever. Craig's like always going into his room, closing the door properly, and just like his bed is made, you know. So he's like, it was all a very responsible vision of Craig that year. And now I can't help but wonder if he did like Paige and he did have that moment where he was like, holy shit, I want to cheat on my girlfriend. I'm not going to, but like that, this is the first time I've ever wanted to step outside of a relationship that I'm in. He didn't. He went home. However that ended is how it ended. But I wonder if that's where he kind of like came up with that idea of you only date the girl that you would cheat on your girlfriend with. Like, I know you think it's stupid, but like I just think that he had to experience that moment to come up with a line like that, because it is a tiny bit nonsensical if you didn't live it, you know?
Sure. If you didn't live it, it's 100% nonsensical. If you lived it and you came up with that, and while you were thinking about pandas not being real, sure, I'm with you. I could see it coming out of this idiot's brain. But like, also, that's one of those things where it's like, it's the Sandoval, right? You got with Ariana when you were with another girl, and then you got with another girl while you're with fucking, that's what he does. Like, it's like once a cheater, always a cheater.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. But if he cheated on his girlfriend to get with you, don't
How
be
you get him is how you
surprised
lose
when
him.
you fucking,
Yeah.
right? So that I think is a little, Jesus Christ, what are we talking about?
I think that maybe you are
his
misheard
sitcom.
what
So
I was
like,
even trying to say.
but that's what this, it's a little bit of like what this comment is like, he's by two things. Your description of your perfect person should not include cheating in the statement. There should not be a line.
Hold on. To
It's
be
a lived
fair,
experience, you could come
Right,
up
but
with
it
that.
also
fair,
leaves the
Craig's-
door open for Craig to always be
Okay.
having
Craig's
available
exact. Hold on. When
somebody
he
to
was
cheat
talking
with.
about this next to like the pirate ship, later in the episode, he said, "You date someone because you don't date someone because they check all the boxes."
This was,
That was
sorry,
later.
go ahead. This was later. There was two separate things. that he
Exactly. And this was in, I think, the second scene. He says, you don't date someone because they check all the boxes. You date them because I don't want to do anything else but hang out with you.
Yeah.
said. That makes sense. That's a proper statement.
Yes. And I
Yes.
think that
The
really...
first statement he said was asinine.
Okay. All I was trying to say was that it brought up a situation where I remembered him hanging out with Paige in the Winter House and being complete, like minding his P's and Q's, perfect gentleman. And I was wondering if that's where he came up with something like that. It was from a lived experience. I think that if he did, that like I think that's interesting that he remembered that, and to relay it to someone, it's useful information to someone else. But like that is, to me, is maybe like, if that's how he knew to call Paige afterwards, like, I've never wanted to do, like, this girl she's got something special. I've never wanted to step out on my girlfriend before. And here I am actually
and to Craig's
entertaining
credit,
the idea, not doing it, but still, like, I think that would be that would leave a mark on me. Like, if I never stepped out on anyone, and I literally in that moment, I'm like, holy shit, this is insanity. She's incredible. This woman is incredible. And I'm thinking about doing something I've never done before. Not doing it, but I think that I thought it was interesting.
and the reason I bring any of this up is because I just find it, Craig's not that much older than West and Jesse.
No, he's just always been so different.
Right. And there are, especially because now that I've rewatched all of Southern Charm.
Yeah.
I can see that even in the depths of Craig's really bad behavior, being addicted to Adderall, being just so kind of, what's the word? Like, he was so
she was all over the place and very argumentative
and really erratic. He was always that person of like, you don't treat a girl that way. You don't speak to someone that way. He did have this like moral compass in him, for a lack of a better way of putting it. And even Shep, because we were talking about this the other day, we were texting about this. Shep, who's not his biggest fan all the time, said, like, to his credit, he is not a cheater. He is loyal to a fault. And I just think it's so interesting that Craig got this gene.
Yeah.
And here are these two ding-dongs that don't have as much celebrity, money, notoriety, anything as him. And Craig could look at both of them and say, don't you get it? Don't you get that one day someone just comes into your life and the colors are brighter, things taste better, music sounds better, and you just only want to hang out with them. And then you give that person the love and respect they deserve. You don't keep going to the craps table saying, and give me more, like, I'm throwing more of my money away. It's like, they just don't know when to stop, these two. And it's such a gross trait in a man to me.
95% of why I love Craig is because of how staunch he is about some things. And like, he's so similar to Mike. It's insane to me. Not everything, because he might have a little fibbing issue, but as far as like what he decides to dig his heels in about, and how also Mike does maneuver situations. Mike is brilliant, and it lays low, it stays quiet, but he knows exactly what he's doing. He is able to do that, and Craig's able to do that. It's a little different. I'm not saying
it's my job in this.
Well,
sure. Let that secret out, but
you didn't get it from your job. You got the job because you are that way. You're valuable in your position because you are
that skill set.
You have that skill set. You never talk out of turn. You never bring things up and yell about anything. You are the most calm, cool, and collected. You've actually had problems because of it. People think, are you even into this? Are you even having a good time?
I did get fired once because people thought I didn't care about my job.
By the way, I didn't want to do this show at first because I was like, Mike doesn't care about anything.
But Mike doesn't care about it. But really, he's just like plotting our whole lives out in his head. And so I think that when he...
Is that what he's plotting?
Yeah. But I think that's why when Craig does have any missteps or his words of advice are a little kooky, Mike can't laugh at them because he's like, no, I know what you're doing and you're doing it all wrong.
That's not what we believe, bro.
That's not what we believe, bro. Yeah.
Okay, so now
stupid.
Sorry, they just said that and it drove me crazy because this is when Craig's downstairs talking to them by the pirate ship and Sierra and Paige are up in Paige's room and they're talking.
Yeah.
I know I say it every week. It's getting worse and worse and worse. There's nothing to sweep under the carpet anymore. She can't look him in the eye when he comes in the room. She doesn't want to hang out with him. She doesn't want to spend any time with him. Her hiding these are all just death rattles to the relationship. And I just was curious, did you guys believe when they were talking about like what Craig had said off camera, saying, you're way more busier than I am. You're more successful than I am. And Paige is like, why didn't you just say that then? And he's like, because that doesn't make us look good or something like that. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I didn't understand the context of it. Like, so I think maybe you've just told it to me. You might have to tell it to me again, because I was trying to figure out, like, when she said he wouldn't just say what I was doing was bigger. did they specifically ask? Because he said, I didn't want to, I'm not going to say on camera that you're doing way bigger things than I
because
am.
they're having this conversation at dinner and she's saying, like, talking about how busy she's going to be and all of this stuff. And I think she felt it would have been helpful if he just said, listen, I get it. You are way busier than I am right now. Like, your career is actually even bigger than mine is right now. So go and do and be what you want to do, be what you want to be. But instead, the conversation was more focused on the fact that if she is busier, even though she might be, in her words, I'm not saying this is true. This is why I'm bringing it all up. I think she's saying, but I'm making more money than you, and my career is blowing up more than yours is. So you couldn't just give me throw me a bone and say, listen, you have worked your entire life for this moment. You are killing it in ways that I'm not even killing it. So just go, and I'm going to hold down the homestead for us. And you go bring home the bacon. I'll fry it up in a pan. You go have your success. And then when my star's on the rise, you'll hold down the homestead. But instead, it was just the same conversation, which, by the way, they've been having since the day they started dating.
Yeah.
Because I've watched every season now back to back. And it doesn't matter if they've been dating for 6 months, a year and 6 months, or 3 years. It is constantly, when are you going to move down to South Carolina? When are we going to have a kid? When are we going to live this slower life? And he doesn't ever say to her in the conversations that we see on TV, like, I get it. Your career's blowing up. It's even bigger than mine is right now. And I need you to go and grab all of that success you can, because I know this is your dream. I'm not saying that he shouldn't say this. I'm saying, what do you guys think about this? And do you believe it? Because my mind was spinning after that conversation. Did I make sense of it for you or no?
No, totally. But Mike is like sucking on his microphone. So just if you have something to say, it seems like you're on the ready.
I don't. I just was gonna ask. I mean, I don't like. It's kind of the Taylor Swift and Beyonce artist of the century thing. And my thing about that was like, Beyonce's been around for a long time. Taylor Swift is Taylor Swift, but like, she wasn't Michael Jackson Taylor Swift until a few years ago, right? So was Paige super mad successful? Like, I feel like Paige in the last 6 months, maybe a year, has like, with Hannah's tour and Netflix and whatever, like these Giggly Squad, the tour, like, they have really become who they are. Before, it was Paige DeSorbo from Summer House. And like, if you knew, you knew. If you didn't, you have no idea who Paige DeSorbo was. But now you might, like, even if you don't watch that show. So I don't know if Craig wasn't so supportive in year 1 or 2.
No, I don't think that's what she was saying. I think she's saying as her star is rising now, which obviously she really
No, I'm
had.
referring to, I thought you were saying that you had gone back and watched it, and he's never been
I'm
like
saying,
anti-supportive, of her career. But
No.
there was nothing to be.
I'm saying that they've always had the same conversation of like, when are you moving down here? When are we getting
yeah.
engaged? All that kind of stuff. And now when her work life is blowing up, they're still having the same conversation. It hasn't changed to like, listen, everything in your work life has blown up in a way that is your dream come true. Go out there, get it. And by the way, maybe that's what he thought he was saying in that conversation.
Like, he might not have said you were doing so much more than I am, because like, I don't know what she is doing. It's like, it just seems like I remember reading that back. I wrote it out in like a transcript to be like, these are the most incredibly perfect answers ever. Now, she knows better, because she ends up getting him to say the thing about, well, I've just never thought I'd be in such a submissive relationship before. So he does get there and says something that like, that was the wrong move, which he doesn't really make a ton of them in these scenarios. So it stood out to me like a sore thumb. I think he was still in such a build mode that I think it's all about projection. I don't think you say on camera, I'm not even doing anything right now. You're the one with the big life, bright city, big lights, whatever, like I think it was a responsible thing to do. And I don't think he was horrible at all. I liked everything he said in that conversation until he got to the part about being submissive.
Let me throw my theory out on the pasta against the wall and see if it sticks, and then you guys in internet land can let us know what you feel about this. So my theory of Craig, and I'm not shitting on Craig. Craig is doing great. But Craig is a model. He's a spokesperson for Sewing Down South. And he has a team of people who built that company. Like, do you think Craig Conover brokered the Kroger deal? I'm not saying it,
but this is where
listen,
we will
just
always
let me
fight.
go.
You,
Like,
you dumb it down so bad.
I'm not-
You dumb him down when you talk like
Okay,
this.
let him finish. Let him finish.
Paige DeSorbo is someone who might also dumb it down. When she's busting her ass, doing all her own shit, her and Hannah are probably doing majority of the work for their podcast. They don't have any
Of
deal.
course, this has nothing to do with them. Sorry.
So at what point does she just look at him and when he's like, "Oh, you're busier than me. I can't believe you're gonna be gone. Are we ever gonna check in or check?" She's like, "Bro, this is life, man. I'm moving and shaking. I'm doing all this shit. I'm gonna be gone for 3 months. Like, settle the down." And he's crying about it because deep down, Craig thinks he's like this big wizard and like the Oz and like manufacturing all this shit. But like, really, Craig, you're just the face of a pillow company. And like, cool, you did it. It's your pillow. But like, you didn't do the Kroger deal. You're not doing anything else. You're thinking about shit in your backyard and being like, ooh, you know what? I should put a pink flamingo on a pillow. Oh, you know what would be cool is a bee line. I'll put bees on pillows. Great. But like, at some point when he's giving her shit about, oh, how long are we going to check in and then where are you going to move? And she's actually doing work. At some point, does she not go like, dude, what? You're a supermodel, bro. What are you talking to me about? Come on the road. You don't do dick all. Yeah, I'm busier than you because I have an actual job. You go take photo shoots on your Instagram. People bring you know what I mean? And I'm not shitting on Craig. He's not doing nothing. But Craig, the position that Craig has at his company, I am almost sure is 1/10 of the work that Paige is doing for her brand.
Natalie, you have the floor.
thing.
I thought that we were talking about him not saying that specific line of like, you're doing so much more than I am. You're doing way bigger things than I am.
But that's why I think if we're taking what Paige is saying as truth, and I pose the question, internet, okay? So don't come at me. I just want to know do we think that this is the truth? Do we think that this is what's actually going on? And if we're taking what she said as truth, right, as the truth, what Mike said is that's why it's bothering her. Like the fact that you're not sitting there saying, you work your ass off and you deserve to go on this tour, enjoy every second of it. I get that having kids is not in your 5-year plan or whatever it is. Like, speak up for me because I'm getting hammered online about this. Now, there's also a totally opposite side to this, which I don't, that's why I'm confused at this point. And I've been confused with their breakup because I like both of them so much.
Yeah.
And how about this? I don't take Paige as a liar at all. We have history with her with being incredibly accurate, with being such the voice of, she's like the Greek chorus of the show and also of Craig's life. She gives him good business advice from what we've seen. She's not overly dramatic. If anything, like she's so placid all the time with everything. Like I've never seen her. I mean, she gets obviously wound up with Kyle.
Kyle gets her going.
But so would Natalie. So at any rate, it's like, I really don't think that I feel when Paige is telling me something about whether it's her relationship with Sierra, Amanda, Kyle, or Craig, I think what she's saying is actually what happened. I don't find her to bend the truth at all. With that being said, I really also love Craig. I think he is a loyal, loving, great boyfriend that just wants to meet someone and put out a cookbook, have a kid, live in his backyard, get a bigger backyard, and put out an entire culinary set that can be sold at Sewing Down South. Okay, it's going to be now called Living Down South, and Sewing Down South is a subsidiary of Living Down South. They didn't work.
Yeah.
Right?
And I'm totally on board with that now. Like clearly she does not like him anymore. Like,
yes. And I'm trying to figure out, because I live for the case study of this stuff, because obviously neither one of them are perfect, but when you meet someone that's right for you, it's not a matter of one person being perfect and the other person being perfect. They're just perfect for you. Yeah. And clearly Craig is not perfect for Paige and Paige is not perfect for Craig. And I'm just trying to figure out, does Craig have a thing with really needing a little bit of what Shep needs, which is like, I need someone who is that trad wife who's going to be with me all the time. And yes, I want them to have this voice and this presence.
Yes, 1,000%. And someone in the comments said that he always is shooting for when, I think it was editor Danielle maybe, that had like a really good take on that. He still shoots for very what's like ambitious,
like dynamic,
women.
Yeah.
Because,
Naomi was, Chelsea
Naomi
was,
but I also was like, but Naomi at least was more like she was already living in Charleston. Her family's from there, so like it would she could inevitably end up settling down there, even if she wants to travel for a bit or whatever. Like
French, her dad, like they.
Yeah, she was born in France, but they settled in.
Her and her family live in Charleston.
Oh right.
So like,
but they're not like from there.
No, she was born in France.
No, I just mean like if his goal is to move into my house, so I just redo the backyard. It'd be hell of a lot easier to move Naomi in.
Which, by the way, tells you everything you need to know about that. Because if she was born and raised in France, I'm not saying it means she was raised in Paris, but like she has a European sensibility to her. You would think she'd be more comfortable in like a major city, and clearly she loves Charleston.
Yeah.
So like she would really be down to be a trad wife in Charleston.
It probably would have been.
With Craig.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that Craig definitely has that. I think that Craig probably, you know how I was talking about like just imposter syndrome, like just trying to kind of figure out like where all of Paige's like stress and anxiety is coming from, and why like Craig, if he's not moving perfectly, like is going to set her off because she is just like about to burst of just like all the things that like this tour means. I think that also I find Craig to be actually very insecure, but has constantly been like overriding that with like fake confidence. Like he's a little
I don't think this at all. And I'm going to say the most ridiculous thing and I'm going to get slammed for it and I don't care. He's an Aquarius. Aquariuses, all of us think we are the greatest thing since sliced bread. We don't care if we have any friends because I'm my own friend and I've never had a bad time with me. I like everything I cook, everything, all the music I play. Like we are very similar to Leos in the respect of like down for ourselves.
Yeah, and but like once it starts, like hit after hit after, like Craig took a lot of hits. Granted, not as many. Like we're older than Craig, so we have more hits to show for because of just the age. But like Craig did not have an easy come up. He was getting found out and bashed and kicked in the nuts left, right, and center. He was constantly getting bashed by Shep and Whitney. Like they would just kick him around all the time. Nobody saw his vision. Naomi made fun of him and whatever, but he still was like, I know I'm supposed to do something, but like you can't not start to feel like fuck, like maybe I'm never
telling
will.
you, I think he's like, no, I know it, and you guys are idiots, and you don't see it.
So don't you think he was able to get there at some point with getting as kicked in the face as he was by everybody telling him you're a fuck up, you're a loser, you need to get your shit together? Like you don't.
Yes,
think he
I think he had
moment of like fuck.
I think he had hard moments because he's a person and he's not impervious to life. But I don't think he, like, even now, and I will say to anyone, this has been the worst start of any year that I can remember. I still don't wake up like thinking, oh, if someone were to hire me for a certain job, or like let's say the podcast, someone gives us a contract tomorrow, I wouldn't show up being like, oh my gosh, they hired the wrong person. Like, I can't do this well. Like, I think imposter syndrome, because I talk about this with one of my best friends all the time, you can have imposter syndrome and still be incredibly successful. So I get what you're saying with the Craig of it all, having imposter syndrome. I just don't take him for that person. I think that, yes, he's had bad moments like I have, like anyone else has. Yeah. But you still are just like, but I know I'm not an idiot. Like, I know.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I
just think he knows that like he got really lucky, as you like to point out, that like these people came over to his house one day and saw this pillow and like things could not have gone this route. Like it took one person coming by and being like, what is this?
No, they were the guys he went to college with, and he called them and was like, hey, I'm doing this thing. And like, what, like, let's figure it out together.
Oh, Mike said that they were just at his house and was like, what is this pillow?
No, they went to college together.
No, I know they went to college together, but I just will never believe in a million years that Craig orchestrated this thing. I don't think Craig had any idea what to do with these pillows. That's fine. I'm not hating on that. I've done plenty of hobbies and things where I'm like, oh, I have a thing called the hip caddy. I play golf. It is in a closet somewhere around here. Probably could have made $1 bajillion on that.
We'll pitch it to the people.
It's too late. But like, my point is, I didn't do anything. I made it. I sewed it. I took a home ec in 8th grade too, Craig.
And I'm telling you, the similarities, they just keep lining up. He literally did. You don't know how many storage units I have moved this thing from in the Valley and Van Nuys and Studio City and Glendale and Burbank and down the street. Got to expect, like, this thing has hopped around and he will not throw it away. And I'm like, isn't it over? You don't know.
It's a memory. It's a memory.
No,
of a
you
failed
think like,
experience.
I need to remember how I sewed this.
No, Mike.
I can sew it again.
The memories up here, that's a memento.
It's a prototype. It's gonna be in the Smithsonian one day. So I don't.
Someone said you sound like Craig.
So many people did.
So many people.
All I'm saying is,
I'm
I'm not
sorry,
saying that Craig is some genius.
I
I'm
didn't
just
mean
saying
to say
that
he had imposter syndrome either. I was
No,
just
I'm
saying
with
that
you. I am. I don't know how to agree with you without making it seem like I'm shitting on you, because you and Craig are totally not, in my book, the same person. But I think your probably level of like, I'm the greatest person is like, yeah, Courtney's pretty much one of the greatest people ever. So like that tracks, right? Like Craig is not, but I do think and I don't hate Craig.
You do. You hate Craig so much. It is hilarious.
Dude, you're so
Wait, he's
crazy.
complimenting me. Go on, Mark.
I just think that I think Paige might have suffer from a little imposter syndrome, which
agree.
is weird.
Yeah.
That I don't understand that, because she seems so confident and so smart and so like
Awesome
no,
and
dude,
has
you're
everything to give.
Yeah, no, don't. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Don't let anybody tell you different. Craig, I think Craig can't figure out why no one else can figure out.
Thank you.
Why
That's all I'm
Craig's
saying.
The best thing in the world. Craig
that's
thinks
exactly correct.
Craig is over
that
the
can
moon
still
about Craig.
go with what I'm saying, that he knows that it was still a slog to get to, like, he didn't get it all handed to him. He got pounded all the time. Like, he was tortured by those guys day in and day out.
Right, but that
he has
had
the
nothing
lived
to
experience
do.
to
What does
know
that have
that
to
like
do with
shit
his
didn't have to go
business?
this way. Like, because that, just to know that like this was not the easiest thing. I thought I should have gotten it when I was 22, and here I am 32 finally getting it. Like, shit can go wrong. Everything you put out there matters. Everything I say to camera matters. Everything I put out, every business I get involved in, like, that's what I'm saying about how the decisions that he makes. I think that he knows how important they are, because maybe he did think I should have all those things and have a bag of candy delivered to me right now. And like, he had to sit there on his porch looking for the guy for 10 years, longer than he thought. So all I'm saying is that I still believe that he values, he understands the importance of saying the things that he says on camera, going into business with the things that he does, not presenting this kind of front, not like, whatever, like, just that's what I'm saying in relation to the conversation that they had. I think 1,000,000% he could have been way more supportive of Paige and building her up and saying all the things. I wish he would have.
I do too, because I think that and I think this for most women, like, you look at Oprah Winfrey and she says this all the time. She goes, you have no idea how many times I would sit down for an interview when I was in like my childbearing years. And I was always asked, when are you going to have children?
Yeah.
With single men that are entrepreneurs, businessmen, they never ask these questions, or they don't ask them at the rate that they do ask that to women.
Yeah.
And I think that there are just these little things that women get slingshotted with.
Yeah.
That it's kind of like, just help a sister out. Like, I'm getting dragged through the mud because I don't want to do X, Y, or Z. And it just would be, and you know that because we talk about that off camera. So it would just be helpful if you bolstered me up a little bit so that people could understand I'm not just trying to be a difficult, nasty, withholding girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then in the same breath, maybe she never wanted any of this, and he was feeling that he was being dragged along, on like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, but he was so in love with her. And like he said at the end of Southern Charm, like, we have such a great sex. We're best friends. We make each other laugh. We always want to be around each other. Like, why would you give all of that up for anything? And so, this is why I keep going back and forth with them. I'm on like a seesaw with it.
I wish that Craig would have done many, many, many things different, and he didn't. And it is what proved that like they are going to go their own ways and should go their own ways. They have no business
Very
in each
much
other's
so.
lives anymore. Like they both have the ability to own the world.
And God willing, 5 years from now, they're at a dinner somewhere in the world with his sig other, her sig other, and they're like, could you believe I almost married this guy? He's a bee
Lunatic.
farming, and
Yeah.
I just would like they're just too different. You
Yeah.
have to. I say this all the time, and people don't want to agree with me, but like love, in my opinion, is not enough because you have to also be in alignment of like what you want in your lives. And how about this? Whether I'm right or not about love being enough, you still have to be in alignment. Like you can't be in a relationship where one person wants to live in New York and one person wants to live in South Carolina.
You can beat them into submission. They
Well, then you're in alignment.
They eventually, yeah, exactly. So don't be a quitter is what I'm saying. If you have the love, just
Speaking
beat
of
them
not
into submission.
quitting, can I have a pineapple spritz? Because I have one last rant to go on, which I know
Well-
everyone wants to kill me, but I can't not talk about it.
You can have a pineapple spritz too, because spritz is so delish.
Let's.
And we gave all the good ones. No, they're all good. Peach isn't good. Sorry,
gotta
peach
do-
isn't good.
Which
But-
one you want?
Pineapple's excellent.
Yeah, pineapple's good, but grapefruit and blood orange are the best if you like that kind of citrus. Otherwise, this one's really good. What was the other one? Though?
I liked lemon and grapefruit.
I don't have a ton of time left in me.
Okay.
But I also want to say one last thing about Craig and Paige. And if this whole thing about him not being supportive is true, I would imagine from what I remember in the beginning, Craig was so sweet and super supportive and super like, just like a kind of seemingly perfect boyfriend, right? Which if what we've heard from Paige is correct, that her mom's taught her that she needs to walk through this world like a man, and nobody asks men if they're getting pregnant or when they're having kids, and this is a man's world, and you need to be like a man. Great. Well, that means that you're probably not going to end up with a man that is wanting a trad wife, a little demanding, saying that you should move down south and have some babies and live in the nice house that I've built for you. You know, like, I built this for you. He said that multiple times. We designed this together. I built this for you. Craig's turning into a man, a good old-fashioned trad man, you know, like that. Like, come on, little lady, you're going to be with me now. That is Paige's ultimate nightmare, right? From day one. That's what her mom, she says it in this episode. Sierra, I've nailed her name every time. I want you to know I haven't fucked it up one time. You know who I'm talking about. Sierra has told, she was like, if your mom heard you saying this right now, she's like, she would kill me. Well, guess what? I don't know if your mom watches the show, but she's going to hear it and you're going to be killed. So like, I think Craig maybe turned into a man. I don't mean this like in a good way, like in a bad way, like an old fashioned, no, we don't need that kind of man anymore. We need the supportive man who's a team player. But Craig turned into old man guy.
No, I just think
And
that
Paige is
Craig
like, wait
ran
a
out of
minute.
time. Craig talks about his biological clock and he wants a kid. And Paige is like, I would be ready to start talking about having a kid in 5 years. In 5 years, he'll be 40, 41, which is totally fine to have a kid at 40 or 41. I have tons of friends that have done it. They love it. It's great. But that doesn't matter if it's great for someone else. It's not what he wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he also wants to stay in South Carolina, even though he said he would move to New York. I really think he wants to stay down south. Okay, because I know we're.
I think that he should get a place in Malibu for the summer and decide then.
Oh, well, maybe Malibu's. Yeah, great.
It's not
but
all bad. It's not all ruined.
It's
is
not
it?
all burnt. No. All right. I can't even think about it. I know, but sorry, I didn't mean to piss on your porridge. What's your dream? Get a place in Malibu?
No, I think that Craig would really enjoy. Well, again, it's a bad time. I don't know when it'll be all rebuilt.
Well, I'm gonna
but I think
go.
he would have a nice time here.
Okay. The rest of my notes are, besides the fact that I think April's sex game is just like vile, and I'm so happy that at some point in this season Sierra's like, this is gross, bro. Like, do this somewhere else, which I get. It's
No,
it's
go
gross.
to a whorehouse. This is the summer house.
Yeah.
And 2 more faceless women this week. Do you know what the thing is that's on the floor that they keep panning to in his room?
I didn't know if it was a condom.
That's
Or...
like, it seemed like it could be, but like it didn't really look like one. It was a lot of plastic.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't.
But whatever that thing is next to him, they keep zooming in on it. Like,
The whole thing was
I
Barf
don't
City,
know.
and he's the mayor.
and he, I think I still stand by that. Like, I don't like how we never meet the people, but I think what I've come to even more so now is that it's not just what I see is just like kind of like making sex shameful because we never get to see their faces. And I get to each his own if that's their right, if they didn't want their camera or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's gotten a little much. And also, you are on a reality show. We are supposed to be learning about your life. Relationships are included in that. Like, you have to tell us something about.
We know nothing about him
This dude
except
has
he's
been
the
in
guy.
2 scenes the entire season.
Yeah.
This dude is producing these producers. He was like, a house in the Hamptons for yeah, sign me up.
You're gonna pay me to have sex?
Yeah, dude, this guy's
I know. I guess
a
he's
genius.
Yeah.
man.
Either way,
I'm gonna
pass.
go bang all the chicks in the Hamptons, never do anything, and I'm gonna get a check for it. He's a professional humper.
Well, speaking of people who aren't geniuses, I've got a bone to pick with West. Okay, I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. Mike and I might get into a massive fight about this, but I don't care. When West is all sulking and I'm so upset because I've been so nice for 5 weeks. I've been nice and I haven't brought one girl home or made out with anyone for 2 days every week. Do you know how hard that is? I don't know. Is it so hard? Is it harder than maybe just saying, I sincerely apologize, Sierra, not walking into your room with my shirt off being like, do you hate me? Can we talk? Are you still mad at me? Look, I'm a Boy Scout. You can't be mad at me. Shut up. You are a grown ass man. Walk up to Sierra and say, I am so sorry. I clearly broke your heart and I apologize for doing that because I really care about you and that's the last thing I wanted to do. If you did that, you could screw a girl in front of her and she wouldn't care. You just can't walk around everything being polite thinking that that's going to whitewash everything. We don't want things whitewashed. We want things out in the light. We want you to say, Sierra, I sincerely apologize. Period.
Yeah.
That's it. If you did that, you go back to normal. The game resets. You are free, Wes. The fact that you can't get that, you're a moron. How is it so brutal to just sincerely apologize to someone?
I never really realized that he wasn't like he said sorry in weird ways. I think that
I'm sorry this made you feel that way.
Art and direct. But one thing that I noticed that like because he really I feel like he's skirting this in a way almost it's like if I do apologize and it's admitting guilt or defeat or something, because in the after show Jesse goes, can you at least say would have been great for you to give her a heads up on the article? And he's like, sure.
His exact quote was, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, it was like
he didn't even want to say,
I
to his
given
bro.
you a heads up on a New York Times. No, like that. I didn't realize that. I didn't know that he didn't try to.
That's
tell
why
her,
I'm so pissed.
Like, no, I get that now. And also,
But can we just dissect that for a second, Natalie? Because to his boy, he can't even say, no, dude, you're totally right. I should have done that. He just says, gotcha.
Yeah.
Like, we're done with this. Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, say at least admit to Jesse. He can't admit I was a fuckboy because men have it in their head. Not all men, but a lot of men have Shep-itis. Where it's, I just gotta be, I've been the nice guy all summer. I've been such a good guy all summer. Why doesn't she want to give me the time of day? Because you made her look like a fool on national television and can't just apologize for it. And then when you did squash it, you then the next day went to the New York Times and did an article about it and didn't tell her. And now you're back in the house trying to be so sly.
And telling circles of people at the party, oh God, I wonder what they're saying about me over there. Like,
can't be too real about Sierra because she's so delicate. No, she literally said, sorry, because this got me. when
He did something to Chicken Fry recently, and Chicken Fry had to come out and make a TikTok about it, and was like, "Whoa, Wes, love you, but let me set the record here."
right,
So he's
because
got a little pattern of just doing whatever he wants and being like, "What? What's the big deal?"
Sierra nailed it in the after shows. She said, claiming confusion is BS because you need, and this is, I guess, the crux of it, when he keeps just feigning amnesia about all of this. I don't understand why she's still mad. I don't get it. Right. Because if you got it, it means you would have followed Carl to his therapist and gone in the appointment after him. So you could have been, had a modicum of introspection where you could say, I've assessed my behavior and it hasn't been the best because I stalked you all summer. Yeah. I set up a horseback riding date. I brought you, flew you home. This isn't a car ride. We're not crossing a bridge or going in a tunnel to go back to Jersey or New York State to go meet my parents. You got on a plane to meet the parents that birthed me.
In Missouri.
Okay? We rode more horses there. And I just can't give you a legitimate apology and just say, I'm sorry that I dicked out on you. And then once it was dead and buried, then I went to a publication that has 11.3 million followers to out you again and say stuff that I never said to you.
Does she say at the end?
Because if I did that, it would have meant that I looked at my own behavior. And West is not, he's
a child.
He's a child and he refuses to look at his own behavior. And that's where I'm getting so irritated. I don't expect anyone to be perfect. Nobody on any of these shows, including this show, is perfect.
Yeah.
But just say, I'm sorry. Just say, I looked at my actions and I'm sorry.
I've said it a million times that women do not want perfection. They just need you to acknowledge that something bad happened and you think it was bad too. Because if I don't know that you know that was the wrong move, I cannot continue forward with you because you're just going to do it again and then shame on me. So it's not about like doing the right thing. It's just about like acknowledging like, this wasn't great, right?
Yes.
You saw that, right? This wasn't great.
I love shade more than anything in the world, okay? One day, we're all in Palm Springs. We all know this. He looks at me and he's like, you know what I'd really love? Your yellow rice. Of course, I am hammered by the pool, but you know what? I will get up off this lounge chair and make you yellow rice. All you have to do is go to the grocery store and buy white rice. This lovely human comes home with pre-seasoned Spanish rice. And I was like, oh, I can't make you yellow rice with this. You are so high maintenance. You are so difficult. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You asked me for I didn't make the yellow rice cooking rules. I need a non-seasoned rice so that I can season it.
With the yellowness.
That you want. So I just need you, instead of yelling at me, not yelling, but instead of like getting all up and crotchety about it and saying, oh, you just got to have it your way. No, I don't have to have it my way. I have to have it the recipe's way. Yeah. The recipe that I didn't create. So I just need you to acknowledge that you messed up and you couldn't find the white rice,
or
which
like,
is
not even
arguably
that you messed up, but that like you're not eating the yellow rice right now to your own fault. Like,
because you messed up.
Yeah, because you got the wrong
rice, which is okay. But I need Wes to just acknowledge this. That's it.
Yeah, totally.
And then he's in the interview in the after show where he's looking like Robin Williams in Good Will Hunting with like the Argyle vest on with the weird blowout. Whatever, it doesn't matter. None of this stuff matters. I'm just still so irritated with him and he still keeps digging himself in a deeper hole. And that's it. And we can read comments and no one's going to change my mind about it until he apologizes.
When he says at the end, you know how he does talk to Amanda? And then in the after show, I felt like he like jumped up to say like, I was so glad that Amanda like basically validated everything I've ever thought in my whole life. And I was like, he didn't say that, that's an exaggeration, but it was something along the lines of like, he felt it really important to state on camera that like Amanda said I basically didn't do anything wrong. Like, or I said, she thinks I did this. And Amanda said, of course you didn't. We all know that you didn't. And he's like, that was a lot to me. That really meant a lot to me. And I don't remember, I remember Amanda being like, you know, being just like a good listener and like affirming him, to, you know, just to, because he was really frustrated. I haven't seen Wes that frustrated about this. Like he really like let it all fly that night about like just like the fever temp or what, or the
Fever pitch
fever pitch that it had reached. And so I felt like she was just being very accommodating to him, but I don't remember her being like, yeah, no, none of us thought that. And so I was just wondering if like, did I miss that?
No, she didn't say that.
He just seemed like he really wanted to tell America, but people out there in TV land, Amanda said I didn't do anything wrong. So that's the case closed. Like,
that's what
woo!
No, that's what happened. Amanda was just like, it's because she's so hurt.
Yeah.
And he's like, exactly. She's hurt for no reason. And Amanda said it and she gets it. And now I'm just still stuck here in torture land.
Yeah. Okay, let me just see what this was that Amanda Chicken Fry said.
Brianna Chicken Fry.
Brianna, yeah.
Okay, I just got out of the shower, so let's disregard. Westy Poo, I love you. Like we talked the other day, we're friends. We've always just been friends. But I did see that interview. Let's just set the record straight. Okay, so that night that we all hung out, I made a video, and there was like 4 guys in it. It was Jake, it was Wes, it was Aiden, and then we went out that night. I posted on my story. Like there was so many dudes. And then I woke up in the morning and I was like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I made out with someone in public. That's so embarrassing, like humiliating. And then I had a bunch of red carpets the next week. And there was like a picture of me and Wes just like drinking a martini. So everyone was like speculating that it was him and everyone was asking me about him. I always shut it down. I was like, no, I love Wes. He's a great guy. He's my friend. Never once was I like, I made out with Wes Wilson. What did this motherfucker do, West? You were outside of the club. You were outside of the club. Come and hang out with me. And you told TMZ that you made out with me. You. Ain't no one made a TikTok about you, okay? Let's get the facts straight, West. Let's get the fact. I'm gonna send this to you. I'm gonna send this to you right now. Get the fucking facts straight, okay? You were the one that aired it out. You. I would have took it to my grave.
He was on there being like, oh yeah, I'm just realizing now you can't really do anything. And then, you know, girls just make TikToks about it the next day, you know? And like there was a TikTok of her and like a bunch of people, and West was one of them in there. But basically he was insinuating that she had told that he can't even do anything anymore without people bragging about it on TikTok, that he gave him the time of day and smooched him. No, he was wasted outside of a club, and a guy from TMZ came up, and I think from West, I don't know if West knew the guy was from TMZ, so he was like, yeah, we just made out, but this was all West. And then he tells someone and insinuates that he can't do, he's such a big star now, that like anyone that makes out with him is just going to immediately publicize it for their own come up. And she's like, I never told anyone that
You
we
did.
You did, you moron.
By the way, this is why that New York Times article just chapped my hide so badly, because in there he goes, I just think it would have read better if I, like, why are you media training yourself in the sense of like,
Who knows?
do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
you're
of
sitting there
course.
trying to say, oh, it would have read better.
No, he's just a
to the-
newbie. He's
to
just,
the
like,
majority
new
female
to
audience.
media and new to people giving a shit. He probably has a manager now that's just explaining to him how it all works,
Bro.
And so he's using his jargon and making himself look super cool to get more hoes. and-
Biggie said it in the 10 crack commandments. Never get high on your own supply. Okay. Anyway, comments. Oh my God, guys, we have 111 likes. That's an angel number.
Yeah.
Okay, this is actually this is the first comment that I see from Sam. Lots of numbers. It says, I don't think Paige is more successful than Craig. Paige makes it clear no matter what Craig says, she will spin it the wrong way and he can't win. I don't think she was in love with him. She might, okay, then all the love stuff, we can get into that. But the reason I think that's interesting, that's the first thing that we see, is I think that maybe, let's just say Paige technically is more successful than him in her finances, in her social media reach, and all the metrics, she's outperforming him. Maybe because she sees comments like that all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe she does want him to say, hey, like if you could just throw a comment out my way, because literally everyone's like, Paige is climbing up his like tail, like riding his coattails
No,
on
it's
his
totally,
success.
It's totally biased, totally unfair. She's getting the worst end of the stick ever. I don't know about the cheating allegations. I just don't know. Okay. So like, yeah, if that happened, it's a whole other story. But like for now, like it is, Craig is Bravo's darling, as we've heard.
And I get it. We love him. He's our
my
darling.
too. I didn't even know he was Bravo's darling until Amanda told me.
I just think it's really interesting that that's the first comment that pops up,
Yeah.
which she must see all the time, which is probably why she said that thing in the room to Sierra, being like, I'm just so annoyed that he couldn't just say this on camera, because then maybe I'd stop getting comments like these.
And
if that's the truth.
Totally now, like the thing that we saw before the season began, where she's crying and she goes, I just feel like I'm going to not be with Craig and my whole life is going to go away. Everything I have, I'm going to lose everything. And I was at the time going, what? You're a totally different person than him. That one has nothing to do with the other. Now I get it. Like, it is a concern to be concerned with, and that's real.
Literally right under that is Sarah McBride, who is a big cat lover. Which makes
and a
me
big
love
Paige
her.
lover. And I just want her to know, I also, like, I say a lot of things about Craig, but I really, really, really love Paige, and I hope that means something to you. I feel like I'm not your spirited animal anymore, probably because of how I've come off on all these Craig debates now, but I just, like, I really want to fight for that position, and it means a lot to me, and I'm doing my best over here, and I love Paige so much. I hope that reads.
I think it does.
Hope that reads like
Well, yeah, exactly. There you go. Sarah said, so happy Paige can live her best life without a man trying to drag her down. If you're not helping, you're hurting, period. Not a bad point.
No.
If you're not helping, you're hurting. I think that says a lot, Sarah.
Yeah.
Oh, Rebecca Krakow feels exactly the way you feel, Natalie. You can get a mocktail anywhere. Every bar serves
You
mocktails.
can get them at my house.
Mocktails.
Like, I got peach juice.
Yeah.
And some bubblies.
Johnny smiles at the comedy again. Can't wait till Lexi sees Jesse motorboating Sierra at the reunion.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one.
We need Johnny to write jokes for us.
Wes
so
is probably like, you can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah, right.
Like, I'm sure Wes is so excited to have somebody else really screw the pooch. Hi, Minnie.
Oh, Nettie said something that Nat is really going to be here for. Kyle took the quote unquote high road by calling Craig a liar on national TV.
Yeah, Kyle makes it impossible to feel bad for him, aside from just one human being seeing another
You left
human
out
being.
yeah, right. The context of that whole thing.
What?
Oh, I thought that was more of the sarcasm. I just didn't know how to perform it properly. Meaning
this.
like
Yeah, right. That's how you do it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. But the sentiment's the same.
Kidding.
Oh, sorry, Nettie. I took artistic license and left out the yeah, right.
Big Craig hater over here. Just want everyone out there in TV land.
Kyle hater, you mean?
Craig hater over here.
Craig
Me?
hater.
I'm not a Craig hater. I'm not a Craig hater, Chrissy. Don't let her put words in your brain.
Christy, I'm here to tell you facts.
I was. I'll be honest. I used to be. Whoa, I almost stopped watching. We would get in fights. Like I was.
We did stop watching for a minute because I was like, this isn't fun anymore. You're freaking out. Shep is being an
Mike
absolute
taking the
piece
fun
of
out
shit
of something?
asshole. Shep is like the biggest crybaby in town right now. Like anybody can recognize it. And Mike would still be like, whatever, fuck Craig.
Because Craig was being an idiot.
Okay. Craig was like 12 and Shep was like,
12-year-old idiots.
cutie
Foof and I
pies.
just made out and everyone missed it, but I hope you got it on camera.
Whoa, he's like, whoa, I didn't know that was a thing. Fev, what are you doing though, perv?
We're in love. Just so you know, Michelle Zern, love the male perspective. Thanks for bringing that, Natalie. I'm just kidding.
Pretty funny, pretty funny.
Carl and Lil look like brother and sister.
They
Nettie.
do.
Yeah, Nettie had some good ones.
Thank you,
Jesse is
Nettie.
Creepy. Jesse is creepy with Sierra. Very inappropriate. If you're friends, you don't do that. That's disrespectful. And he's besties with Wes, so it makes it even more sinister. The available men out there are real discouragement for the single ladies. I don't know if I disagree with that. They all need to watch their alcohol because they act stupid sober and worse drunk. Truth, boys.
This is a response to a comment, but I remember reading it and thinking, this is funny because this is actually what I said earlier, and it's because of this comment, and I just am stumbling upon it, and I wouldn't have because it's a reply to a comment. But it's Latrell Red, and she says, agreed, all she does is lay in bed in Summer House. Like,
That's
it really is. And again, I'm not pissed about it right now. It's more of like this can go nowhere good. Like if you're like one thing leads to another, you think this is okay now. A year from now, you're only going to be
Slippery
richer
slope.
and more successful, and it's only
Slippery
going to
slope.
get like, yeah, exactly.
Well, hold on. You know what was funny? I was just watching an episode of Southern Charm from last season, and literally Paige and Craig are about to walk out the door, but Craig like can't figure out his outfit. And it was really funny because he looks at Paige and he's like, I don't know what I'm doing. She's like, you look like a frustrated accountant. Like, what are you wearing? And he did. Then when they panned over to him, I was like, that's what a frustrated accountant looks like. So he goes, just like come into the room and like help me get dressed. And so she walks into the room because everything with Paige, which I actually think is hilarious, it's like her version of her Larry David shtick.
Yeah.
Everything for her is just exasperating. Like, oh, I have to go to the grocery store. I have to go to my birthday party. Like she doesn't want to do any of it. So she walks in the room to help him get dressed and she's like she's 80. She's like, I'm just going to pull out this chair and sit down. Like she can't even stand and help him get ready.
Yeah.
She has to be sedentary at all times.
Yeah.
It's just who she is. Love it or leave it. Love it or list it.
Totally unrelated and not going to be a popular take at all, but I've had a spritz and that's why I'm just going to say it anyways. I am so fascinated with her relationship with Hannah. And I understand that there's so many people that hate Hannah, and I get it. I don't hate Hannah. I find the good parts about her, and I leave the rest because I just don't really care. But I am fascinated with their relationship because I think that Paige is smart and sees her for exactly who she is, and the fact like they've got this unspoken communication style. It's like they were put on this earth to find each other, and they did, and they are so opposite. And yet, like, I think that Paige sees all of Hannah's issues, and it just like doesn't matter because she gets it all for some weird reason and is able to. I just think find a friend like they have found in each other because like these two should not even know each other, and there's just something insane about the way that they accept each other for exactly the person that they are. And that ain't easy. That ain't easy. It doesn't come often. That's all. Mike has said before that he doesn't think that Paige is really friends. He thinks that, yeah, she's friends with Sierra, friends with Amanda. Like, yeah, of course they're friends. But Mike thinks that her only real true friend is Paige. Or I'm sorry, is Hannah. And I think I'm there too. Like there is a bond that they have. Find someone.
I think they have a bond, but I don't
looks at you like Paige looks at Hannah because like that is some unconditional love.
You know, there's a picture of me and your dad, and I'm just looking at him so adoringly, as I always did. And Shane said, "Find someone who looks at you the way Courtney looks at Nat's dad." So that's that.
Okay. I gotta go to bed.
Okay, go to sleep.
Okay, but wait, is there any more comments?
No.
Okay,
Just the woman who said we were
We
shrieking.
read
and
half
by
of
the
these
way,
comments on the last episode of Southern
we
Charm.
fucked this up,
We
didn't we?
really fucked it up. I'm going through them and being like, we read that. When did we read this?
I
When
don't
did these comments
remember.
come?
there's a woman who said we were shrieking, and we weren't shrieking.
No, she's shrieking. We don't shriek. We're grown ass adults.
Yeah, I have to pee so
You
badly.
said it. You even went in and was like, "Oh, I get so excited." We're gonna
like
go
and
to bed,
subscribe.
and
We've
we'll
been
see
doing
you
this
next
for.
I
time.
probably, if I didn't read your comment, is because he was making me in the show right now, but I know there was more.
I have to be at work in like 8.5 hours.
We're at work right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I have to be at my second job in 8.5 hours.
Yeah, me too. I have to pee.
You got tomorrow off.
Look, I had all of these. By the way, I'm really not even drunk at all. I have like a slight buzz. I also didn't finish this.
Yeah.
You know what? We're going to start a spritz company.
Dude,
Kyle's gonna fucking lose his mind.
West, you're a big dong, you dumb dong.